over a 5-year span. Their combined records 234 and 119. Comcast Business helps turn today's small businesses into engines of modern business. It's how restaurants become reliably up and running neighborhood favorites. It's how retailers become seamlessly restocking, cyber-securing must-visit shops. And it's how healthcare offices become data-managing caregivers that we all depend on. With reliable connectivity, enhanced cybersecurity, advanced fiber solutions, and Wi-Fi backup, Comcast Business is powering the engine of modern business.
Hot summer savings explode at Maida's Elk Grove Chevy. Save $12,000 off MSRP after rebates. Every new 2025 Silverado half-ton LT and RST in stock. Maida Chevy has similar savings on every new Silverado. One of the largest selections in the Sacramento area. $12,000 off new Silverado exclusively at the Maida Chevy Silverado Supercenter. Now that's big, huge. See them all at MaidaChevy.com. Together, let's drive.
West rating 2011 renewed. Not available with special financing, lease, and some other offers.
Hey, it's Carmichael Dave here for American Energy, and oh my goodness, I'm born and raised here. I know it gets hot, but my goodness, we're already seeing 100-degree days. Listen to me. You do not want your system to conk out in the middle of June or July or August with one of those big 100-degree stretches. You want to make sure you're good all summer long. And my friends at American Energy Heating and Air can do that with a $24.50 tune-up right now. That's half price. And if you need a new system, $3,500 off, up to $3,500 off in rebates for qualified systems. They've been around since 1981, serving the greater Sacramento area. A+ with the Better Business Bureau. Call them right now, 916-520-9990. That's 916-520-9990. Jingle Singers, take it away.
Call 916-520-9990 now.
This is the story of the one. As a lineman, he does whatever it takes to keep the power on in his community. And he wants a partner like Grainger who does the same. Grainger offers the professional-grade products he needs, from voltage detectors to harnesses to hard hats, plus fast, dependable delivery, so he can rise to every challenge. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Get ready for a night out with Jordan Davis. It's Country in the Park 2, Saturday, September 13th at Cal Expo. Along with the special guests Mitchell Tenpenny, Locash, Vincent Mason, and Averyana. Make it a family day out with food trucks, games, dancing, and more. Saturday, September 13th at Cal Expo with Michelob Ultra. Tickets are available now at CITPFest.com.
KHD1 Sacramento, KYMX HD3 Sacramento.
From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios.
Sacktown Sports 1140.
Feeding your passion for local sports in the afternoon. It's the Drive Guys with Kevin Gleason and Kyle Draper on your radio at 1140 a.m.
Streaming audio at SacktownSports.com and the Sacktown Sports app.
You can also watch the show on YouTube at Sacktown Sports 1140. Here are the Drive Guys with Kevin Gleason and Kyle Draper.
Drapes, I got to tell you, clearly, speaking for myself, I underestimated the Pacers. We'll see where this goes.
Oh, you 1,000% underestimated.
Yeah.
You had OKC in 3, I think.
I did. It's probably not going to happen. I had them at 5. You had them at 6. We'll see. You're still in play. But I have an issue with the OKC Thunder. They're almost too chill. There was a play last night. I was just talking to Alan about this. Was it at the end of the half or the end of a quarter? And Caruso goes to the basket, and Nesmith
whacks him.
Yes, which is like clean. That used to be like you'd be applauded for that. Now, of course, they got to look at it. They look at it. The officials determine no flagrant. And that's fine.
That's fine.
My point is, he got hammered.
Yeah.
Jalen Williams is right there. Does he go over to pick up his teammate? No. Does he go over to Nesmith at least just get in his face? No. He turns to the referee and goes like this, like, hey, isn't that a foul? They just don't have any. The Pacers are playing with all this fire.
Calm down, Whitey. Calm down.
This is true.
This ain't 1984 Kevin McHale and Kurt Rambis clothesline. This ain't the bad boys' business.
It's definitely not
it's
that.
2025, big fella.
A little fire. Shea is they're down, 7 with 2 minutes to go? And he's walking it up the floor. They just got to bring a little bit because they are really getting dominated in that department. TJ McConnell, Jalen Williams. Hey, isn't that a foul?
I will say, watching it last night, and I saw that play you were talking about, I thought, dang, nobody rushed over to, push Neesmith or anything. They don't have those kind of guys. And you got to understand, they are the youngest team in the association. And I think what you're seeing this series is you're seeing that youth come out, not clutch, running around with turning the ball over last night. I mean, and not, like you said, not realizing the sense of urgency and what's at stake. I will say this, though. A couple series ago, they were down 2-1. Similar situation to the Denver Nuggets.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't panic then. Remember, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander walked off the floor laughing. And people were like, why are you you just lost a playoff game. He's like, I'm not going to let them see me sweat or get upset or anything. I know what's at stake. And so that's just who they are. And I still got OKC winning this in 6 or 7, obviously. It would have to be one of those. But if OKC comes out and wins tomorrow, they regain home court advantage.
Right.
And so yesterday was a must-win for Indiana, we talked about yesterday, not for OKC. And I will say, I feel like yesterday was the first time I thought Indiana actually was on the same level as OKC in this series. I know the series was tied up at 1-1, but pretty much Oklahoma City controlled the series through the first 2 games. Yesterday, that second half, it looked like the Pacers had figured something out against them.
OKC was in not command, but they were ahead going into the fourth quarter. And that's, it's Magic, your guy Magic, you say winning time.
My guy.
And that's when it became a tsunami, a Pacer tsunami. Caruso, the only OKC player in the fourth quarter with an assist.
Yeah.
The ball stops, they get a little tight, and Indiana just keeps coming. That's twice now in 3 games that OKC is folded up like a little origami crane in the fourth quarter.
Would you say OKC is in trouble or no?
Yeah.
I'm not saying that, Whitey. Come on.
You don't think Indiana can win the series?
They can, but who's the favorite for game 4? OKC's more of a favorite in game 4 than they were in game 3.
That doesn't matter.
But I'm still confident in OKC. They aren't in 2-1. Now, if they lose tomorrow, they're in trouble. But they can go out. They haven't lost back-to-back games in how long? It's been a minute for them. They can go out, win tomorrow, even up 2-2, then take control of the series on Monday at home. And so one thing about OKC, to your point, that they never panic. And maybe they should during the games. You know what I mean? Maybe they should.
Excited.
Right. But they until you face a do or die elimination situation. But here's the thing. Shai is a cool customer.
Right.
I'm watching his post-game press conference last night. He got the sunglasses on. And I'm like, man, that dude is smooth. He's cool. And so they sort of take on the identity of him.
Sure.
And so.
But there are times when the situation requires a level of urgency, when it's a matter of, score and time, and we only have limited possessions and we're losing by 7.
Right.
You got to pick it up a little bit. Now, this is one of those stats numbers that doesn't necessarily mean something, but it's not good news for OKC. Teams that win game 3 of the 1-1 finals have gone on to win 81% of the time, 80.5%.
Yeah, that don't mean anything. I hate that stat.
We got a series. Right.
I hate that
That's
stat.
Factual.
It'd be different, but it's best of 7. And it'd be different if OKC didn't have a chance to, like, if they were down 3-2 with game 6 in Indiana, still a lot of basketball left to be played in this series. And I understand. Because that stat you mentioned, what usually happens, Whitey, the best team is usually ahead at that point. And usually the best team wins. And so I would like to know the numbers when the lower seed is up 2-1, how often do they go on and win?
I don't have that for you.
My boys at Chat GPT might have that for me. And so I I may have to look that up because if I'm OKC, man, I'm not panicking, man.
This was the second time this series that Indiana outscored Oklahoma City by a double-digit margin in the fourth quarter. That's wake up.
Yeah. And I think, what I think is happening is Mark Daigneault is getting outcoached right now.
Yep.
Rick Carlisle is coaching circles.
And there's really no shame in that.
Right.
I mean, it's getting outcoached by a great coach.
I don't know.
Who's won a championship.
Tibbs got fired for that, getting outcoached by Rick Carlisle. My boy Tibbs but I don't see any adjustments being made from OKC during this series. Like, how do you start off the series by changing your lineup right from the jump?
Mm-hmm.
Pacers are dictating the style of play, the tempo, everything about this. I thought actually OKC came out. My boy Chet Holmgren came out with the requisite mindset, if you will. But as we've seen against the Pacers, it's hard to sustain for 48 minutes.
Yeah, Miles Turner, here's your requisite mindset.
He blocked that. He's like, get that shot out of here. I don't know about you, man, but I find myself switching my allegiances throughout the series.
Pacers are hard not to root for.
Yesterday, I was rooting for OKC, though.
Oh.
I don't know why. Like, Rick Carlisle is my guy.
Oh.
Yeah. Coach is very familiar with.
I assume since you picked OKC, you were pulling for them to begin with.
No. I mean, but game one, I was, because Rick Carlisle is my guy.
Right.
Tyrese is my guy.
Everybody's your guy.
Yeah, that's true. But going into yesterday's game, so game one, I'm cheering for Indiana.
I see.
Game three, for some reason, I want OKC.
Mm-hmm.
Tomorrow I'll for sure want OKC because I want this to extend. I want this to be great. Game 7, if it comes to that, I don't know who I'm going to want to win.
I got to say this for Rick Carlisle because Jay and I were talking Monday when you were on the golf course. We were talking about game 2. And, the Indiana bench didn't really show up in that game. And so we were talking about the question as to whether or not Rick Carlisle needed to shorten the rotation a little bit. And Jay asked me, and I said, yeah, I think I would do that. He didn't do that, and it's a good thing he didn't because he knows his team. That bench is unbelievable.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah.
They talk about OKC having the deepest bench. Indiana might have a deeper bench.
I thought your guy Mathurin was pretty good.
How about this? Who's been on the Mathurin bandwagon, ladies and gentlemen, since day one? That's been the guy I said the Kings should target. I don't know if Indiana would make him available, especially if they win the title or anything. They'll probably run it back. But that's the kind of player. Him and Keegan Murray, now those are two guys you got something to build around.
Mm-hmm.
And so, no, I was high on Mathurin coming out of college. The thing about Ben Mathurin that I love, and we saw it last night, when he's at his best, he's a difference maker out there. Now, I understand he may turn the ball over, may not be locked in all times. And those are things I think comes with maturity. But the raw talent, the skill, the dog, the bravado, the chip on his shoulder, that's the kind of guy I want here in Sacramento.
Yeah. And then they got guys like Ben Shepherd going out and defending well.
Nick's my boy Nick's guy, Ben Shepherd. You know what Ben Shepherd is?
What's that?
He is the base model. He's the Toyota LE of Toyota Corolla LE of the NBA. He might be a guy that could be on the move. Because here's the thing about Indiana. They're about to pay Miles Turner $30+ million. They're going to have to make some cost-cutting measures, I think, here in the future. And so that's a name to keep an eye on.
In the chateau here, Bruno says keyboard still locked on caps. Venmo available on request. Hang in there, Bruno. Skip Bishop says, I'm just happy. This has been a great series so far. The side stories don't add or take away from that. Logical Raptors fanatic Carlisle has them on point game planning.
How come you didn't read Rockin' New Era? I got an issue with that.
Why?
My guy, Whitey.
Oh,
he can't be stealing that, though. Or is he really your guy?
Like I'm his guy.
No, but
he says, my guy, what? I'm
but he's stealing my lingo. You can't say my guy
he's
to my co-host.
From another market.
Say my guy, Whitey and Drapes, or my guys, or something. I don't know. It makes me feel a certain type of way.
When we get off this phone, I ain't gonna be your guy.
All right, man. I'm hot and sweaty, man. I was. Let me just say, I barely made it on air today.
Wow.
I barely made it.
What happened?
Well, traffic and I'm rushing and everything.
Yeah,
and I get here. No, I had to go to Starbucks. I got my lemonade, actually. Shout out to Coffee Republic. I pull up, and I don't know if this ever happened to you. I didn't have my work ID. So I couldn't get into the gate. And so I'm scrambling. I'm looking for my work ID. It's 1:57 in 30 seconds.
Where do you usually have it?
In my middle console of my car. But remember, I just got my car back.
Right.
So I think I left it at home, actually. And so then I had to go to the front desk, through the front door. That's easy, but it's hard to get up the steps and through this door. Luckily, our girl Angie over there heard me knocking, but I was sprinting in this spot. Almost didn't make it in time.
Wow.
But then I thought, you guys are used to it. So.
I just hope your ID isn't out there somewhere where somebody's going to find it and start impersonating you.
Well, the good
going
thing
on this week.
It doesn't have my picture on it, though.
Yeah, that's right.
It's just a white rectangle. It doesn't even say Sactown Sports 1140 or anything like that.
Yeah. I'm trying to figure out whether Jake Fisher should be my guy, Drapes.
Heck no.
You don't think so?
Nah, he not coming on our show.
Jake Fisher. Oh yeah. Well, he's expensive now.
All right. What's Jake Fisher saying?
He says Sacramento has expressed confidence they can trade up for a first-round pick in the lower end of the draft. Quote, I don't know if it's true, but there's some actual semi-sourcing going on here. Jake Fisher, Sacramento has searched for trade avenues to acquire a first-round pick, sources say, and has expressed confidence to various agents that it could be selecting as high as the early 20s.
There you go.
Who are the picks, the early 20s? You got Miami at 20. You got Utah 21.
I saw you tweet that out.
And you got Atlanta at 22.
I don't know if I want to do business with Atlanta anymore. Seem like they always getting the better end of the deal.
Yeah.
But no, we talked earlier. You said Miami's one of those teams, right?
They're 20. Yeah.
What are they in the market for? Wing scoring.
Yes.
Exactly.
Yes.
Exactly. And to me, that would probably be a win-win. I don't think Miami's in the market right now to draft a young player in his, in the 20 to 25 range. If it was a lottery pick, okay. But they need people that can help them immediately, Whitey. DeMar DeRozan can do that. We need to get younger and maybe draft a point guard or a center or whatever. So that potentially could be a win-win.
Yes, sir.
For the Kings and Miami. And it makes sense if you're Scott Perry. And we've talked about it for about a month now. Would not be surprised if the Kings tried to move up to get a first-round pick. Because here's the thing.
That's exciting.
If you're Scott Perry and you're taking you're new on the job and you get there in the first day, your copy machine ain't working, the pencil sharpener is broken, you want to fix that immediately. That's what not having a first-round pick is like. It's like, damn, I can't even take part in the party or anything and the excitement of it. And so by going out there and getting that first-round pick, now you can do something that could actually make a difference on your team.
Your mark on that franchise.
Yes, let's do it.
Interesting conversation that followed that on X at Akis and Jill Adge and a guy named Ron. So my question is, if they're confident, why have they not had any 20 to 30 prospects in for tryouts? And Akis and Jillian Adge saying, that they got private workouts.
Right.
They could attend
they don't
things
have
that
to tell
don't know
everything.
about.
Yeah.
It's a good question, but there are ways around that.
And how about this too, Whitey? The workouts don't have to happen here in Sacramento.
Right.
They can fly somewhere,
workouts,
right? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so, and I would also add too.
Some of those guys wouldn't come out to work out for you. You don't even have a high pick yet. So,
right. And if I'm a team that's trying to keep something under wraps, the guy I'm targeting, I might not even publicize.
Right.
You know what I mean?
It's
like, Sacramento's looking at this guy,
hand, yeah.
Right. You don't want to tip your hand. And so, no, it's all good. Don't worry about that if you're Sacramento Kings fans. Who was the guy that we reportedly worked out? Was it Fears? Did we work out
Jeremiah
Fears?
Fears says he worked out for them or they talked to him.
Yeah. Now that's shocking. Yeah. Now that's, but the rest of the guys, undrafted guys, second round guys, it makes sense.
Yeah.
And
as we've said, we don't know. They may have talked to Fears before the lottery. So they might not have known when they
They thought, that maybe if they get, ping pong balls or something like that. So, no, I think the Kings are in good position, man. I think, in terms of maybe being able to pull something off to get into that back half of the first round.
Mm-hmm.
And that's something we talked about, Whitey. Like, it's something that you've wanted, I've wanted. Like, you look at the second half of the first round this last year, some of the players that came, whether it's Khalil Ware, Dalton Connect, Jared McCain. Like, there's some talent outside of the lottery that is out there. And if the Kings can somehow get back in there and move up, we talked about getting the fans excited. I think that would get the fans excited.
So here are the early 20s picks. Again, the report from Jake Fisher. Sacramento has expressed confidence to agents it could be selecting as high as the early 20s. So as I mentioned, 20 right now is the Heat. Of course, this could all change with trades. 21 is Utah. 22 is the Hawks. And then you got the Pacers, 23, Thunder, 24, and the Magic at 25. Magic is another team.
Magic.
You and I have kind of
circled
as
somebody that could use the services of one DeMar DeRozan. And so it all just makes sense. It makes a lot of sense for the Sacramento Kings and for Orlando and for Miami, because both those teams need players that can help them right now.
Mm-hmm.
I look at Orlando and their issues during the playoffs, half-court scoring. Outside of Paolo and Franz, they didn't have anybody else.
Yeah, and they don't have a lot of shooting.
They don't have a lot of shooting. And so, they signed KCP a couple years ago, thought he would be he's been a disappointment out there. I feel like Orlando needs a veteran late-game clutch scorer.
And they may be the team that is saying, this is our year. We're going for it this year. We've been building. Now we're going to go for it. And DeMar DeRozan would be a perfect fit for a team adopting that timeline.
Yeah, and Orlando doesn't need a pick number 25. Like, come on, they got a lot of young guys already, and so if we could somehow pry a first-round pick from them, maybe Cole Anthony and the number 25 overall pick for DeMar.
Now that's if we're being real here. Is it 25 or 24 or something? Is that something that really is going to help the Kings? I mean, cosmetically, it looks good, sounds good.
It could.
Is it going to help you?
You get younger, what you talk about, and so I think it could, depending on who's there. I wonder, too, if it's a situation, Whitey, where you got to see how the draft falls if you're Scott Perry. Let's say you do have a guy you might be targeting.
Right.
Well, if he gets snatched up, do you want to – I'm out. I'm good, So it could, something might happen draft night even, where Orlando selects a guy, and then 2 minutes later, he's changing hats. We have a trade, Adam Silver says. Now you get me excited for that first day of the draft, big fella. Now I'm excited.
Something fun, hopefully, going forward here.
Yes.
Rather than talking about the same point guards over and over and over. And the bottom line on that is there's more names that came out today. Jake Fisher reported, and we'll get around to them. But again, every shred of evidence suggested if there's a point guard who might be available, the Kings have talked about him.
They're in on him, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Every single one of them, as they should. That doesn't mean they're close to a deal for any of them, Drapes. And one more thing about the whole Darius Garland deal. I like Darius Garland. We started talking about him Friday. Like, hey, might be a good fit. I know Jerry came on. Jerry Reynolds said, I'm not with you guys. I think he's a little too expensive for what he brings you. But the point is, we talked about him. I don't know how in the world, when you're a new GM and you're trying to get your team on the right track and, you're trying to establish some respectability, you don't trade for a guy coming off surgery on his foot.
Right. I got to see how he looks first.
Yes.
Maybe that's a trade deadline kind of move or something like that.
He may be fine, but you don't assume that now.
Right. Because if you do trade for that guy, you're giving up some valuable assets. So you're giving up assets for a guy that may or may not be 100% at the start of the season. So you're already going into the season shorthanded.
Right.
We ain't in the business of being that way. Like, we need all hands on deck.
Did do that last year with a draft pick, but it's a little different with a draft pick who's not making as much money.
And I tell you what, if we did get a first round, like if we were in that position again, there's no way we got to get somebody that can help us day one. Not, this guy going to be out till February. Like, that was an issue last year. We needed depth at the guard position to start the season, and we didn't have Devin Carter available to us.
So if this is true, again, from Jake Fisher, the Kings appear to feel they have a number of deals, or at least a deal in place already, that they can just call and go, yes, we'll do it, right? If they're confident that they could be selecting as high as the early 20s. Yeah. I like it.
Scott Perry got something up his sleeve in his back pocket.
Yeah.
He got a card he's ready to play if needed.
Right.
I like it too. And so maybe the fireworks start on the draft day, which is what? Now less than 2 weeks away, I believe. It starts Wednesday? 2 Wednesdays from now.
Not crazy about second night, but whatever. That's fine.
Yeah.
They should almost have the second round first.
Right. Right. Exactly. Well, they try to be like the NFL in multiple nights, and nobody care about no damn second round picks. No offense to those guys, but that's not thrilling TV to watch. But we'll be watching if the Kings have that pick, man.
How about some of the names that did come out today? No surprise, right? We'll talk more about them, but Malcolm Brogdon potentially. Who's the other one? Marcus Smart. This was Jake Fisher saying sources have duly linked the Kings to players, including Drew Holiday,
Marcus Smart, Malcolm Brogdon. Any of those names intrigue you at all?
Not intrigued, but it's kind of like Malcolm Brogdon could be sensible, right?
Yes, all of them make sense. Drew Holiday, maybe, because of that massive contract, $30 million that he's due, maybe I don't want that. And I got to look up my boy Marcus Smart. I need to figure out how much Marcus Smart has left in the tank. If we do get a guy like Marcus Smart.
You've been after him, but
for a while.
Yeah.
31-year-old Marcus Smart. He turns 32 on October. No, let me look that up. On March. So he just turned 31 in March. So he still may have 3 or 4 good years. He could be our stopgap at point guard. The problem with him is he hasn't played a lot of games recently. 34 this past season, 20 the season before, 61, 71, 48. And so
he's had a lot of finger problems.
Yeah. A lot of finger problems. And then last year, I wonder how much of it is he played for Washington second half of that season. It's like, take your time, Marcus. We don't need you anyway. We're trying to lose games. And so I text his agent right now, as a matter of fact.
All right.
Yeah, see what I can find out.
You know what makes me uncomfortable about the Trae Young talk? And even according to the reports, those talks stalled. But it would almost be an effort on the part of the organization to make up for picking Bagley and missing on Lucas. Like, yeah. But we got Trae Young, and he went very high in that draft.
I forgot about that draft. Yeah, that Trae Young.
I don't like that.
But that'd be coming from the top.
Yeah,
that's not a Scott Perry move, is it? Right? Yeah, that would be.
And I'm just totally spitballing. I haven't heard anything on that, but I was thinking that, like, wow, that would almost be an effort to expunge.
Yeah, who else in that draft? We can look back.
DeAndre Ayton, I think you could get him too.
DeAndre Ayton, yeah, he's probably available.
Was that Jaren Jackson Jr.?
Yeah, he was, right? He was what, 4 of that draft?
Pretty high up.
Yeah, I think he was 4. Yeah, or 5. I take him no way. I take Jaren Jackson Jr. No, I mean it's I'm not actually. When we talked about some of the big fish, whether it's Zion, all those guys do have some warts. They're on. It's not slam dunk players.
Absolutely.
It's taking on some risk, and we might be at a point where we're risk averse right now. Like maybe we don't want to just chase the big name. Maybe build it the right way.
We come back with our summer sermon series, continuing with Sean King, former NFL quarterback and NFL analyst. He joins us next. Then we're back to the basketball drive, guys, on Sacktown Sports.
At SMUD, we power local business with incentives on clean energy equipment, tools to manage electricity usage and save money, tailored solutions from dedicated strategic account advisors, and 50% lower rates than neighboring utilities, all while doing more for the planet with clean energy solutions, savings, reliability, personalized service, clean energy, helping local businesses thrive. That's our clean power promise. Learn more at smud.org.
Come check out Capital Casino, Sacramento's #1 poker room with the most variety of table games in the region in a safe and friendly environment. Plenty of well-lit parking available, conveniently located in downtown Sacramento. And remember, Capital Casino has the best food, the best service, and the best action. 411 North 16th Street in downtown Sacramento. For more information, log on to capital-casino.com, and please gamble responsibly. 1-800-GAMBLER.
I got to get business cards printed for my entire staff, but where do I even?
That was easy.
Oh, okay, Staples. But can I have bigger stuff printed too, like huge signs and banners?
That was easy.
Nice. And what if I had to ship a package?
That was easy.
Have my passport photo taken?
That was easy.
Coffee and snacks?
That was easy.
What about the latest laptops?
That was
Earbuds
easy.
and headphones?
That was
Office
easy.
chairs?
That was easy.
I think I also need to get some Staples.
Seriously?
I had to ask.
For everything your business needs to get the job done.
Staples. That was easy.
This Father's Day at Lowe's, score free gifts for the greatest dad. Right now, get a free Select DeWalt, Craftsman, or Cobalt tool with purchase of a Select battery kit. Plus, get a free Werner 2-foot aluminum ladder when you buy an 8-foot fiberglass ladder. Shop these deals and more this Father's Day at Lowe's. We help, you save. Valid through 6/15 while supplies last. Selection varies by location.
Golf to Go is brought to you by the Hagen Oaks Golf Super Shop. Here's Frank LaRosa.
I had the chance to interview former professional golfer and broadcaster Gary McCord a few years back. He hadn't yet enraged the Green Jackets with his television comments about their revered Georgia golf course. He was welcoming and above all humorous, which is why I recently picked up a copy of his book, Golf for Dummies by Gary McCord, a man possessed by golf's magical allure. This 5th edition will help new golfers learn the basics of the game and bring them, as he writes, from the darkness to the light. The book discusses types of clubs, types of courses, how to hit the ball, and how to keep score. The intent is to help you get the ball to the hole in fewer tries and with better form. You'll even find some basic exercises to get you into golf shape. It's a fun read and will help you get over some of the game's intimidation while getting you ready to visit the golf course on your own or with some friends. I always recommend a good PGA professional to guide you along the way, but Golf for Dummies is a fun way to approach a fun game. That's your Golf to Go. I'm Frank LaRosa.
When you're young, life is full of choices. Don't let opioids like highly addictive and deadly fentanyl take away your life with just one wrong pill. Addiction is a disease that can affect anyone at any age. But there is a choice to get help for this disease. Find medically proven treatment options, including virtual, at choosemat.org.
This summer, give your kids a reason to smile, brightly. At Kids Care Dental, we make dental visits fun with a kid-friendly team, easy to schedule appointments, and expert doctors who really care.
Whether it's a checkup, a cleaning, or their very first visit, we've got you covered. We accept most insurances, and we're always ready when your schedule gets hectic.
Smiles grow here. Book online in minutes at kidscaredental.com. That's kidscaredental.com. Kids Care Dental, where healthy teeth make happy kids.
Summer savings explode at Maida's Elk Grove Chevy. Save $12,000 off MSRP after rebates. Every new 2025 Silverado half-ton LT and RST in stock. Exclusively at MaidaChevy.com. Now that's big, huge. Together, let's drive.
See dealer for details.
Live and local, it's the Drive Guys. Watch the show on youtube.com/Sacktown Sports 1140.
Or listen on the Sacktown Sports app.
It's summertime and the living is easy. It's time for today's summer sermon. We're just going to have a chat, right, Drapes?
Yeah, just to check in, if you will. Visit.
Yeah. With our outstanding guest, former NFL quarterback, DraftKings NFL analyst, Sean King with us. How are you today, Sean? How's the summer going so far?
I'm in Vegas. It's hot, but I got to say one of the most underrated all-time great rappers in history, Trick Daddy. Shout out to it.
A little Trick Daddy, a little take it to the house, Come on now. What's up, Sean? How you doing, man? First of all, thanks for jumping on with us. I don't know where my co-host wants to go with this, but I'm going to start off with some 49ers talk. I'll get to my Philadelphia Eagles coming up in just a little bit. But Niners are coming off a 6-11 season. I'm looking at the easiest schedule in NFL history coming up. If you're a Niners fan, how bullish should you be on this team this year?
Oh, interesting question. Let me break it. Let me break it down though, and why it's interesting when you ask me. As a former player, I put no credence into strength of schedule. Reason being, the National Football League has perfected the parity model. all teams operate under the same budget constraints. So it's very difficult to gauge strength of schedule from one year to the next year. Example, for context, going into last year's season, if you had the on your schedule, that was considered probably a loss, yet they ended up being a 6-11 team.
Mm-hmm.
So it's very tough to gauge strength of schedule from year to year. Secondly, this is going to be a brand new 49ers team in a lot of ways. A lot of the familiar names, especially on the starting defense, have moved on. For the first time, it's probably going to be Brock Purdy's team, especially until Christian McCaffrey shows that he's 100% healthy and able to play, 17 games, which we probably won't know until the season starts. So it's a new look team, whereas Purdy probably was the caretaker before. At least as it looks on paper, he has to take that next step and become a guy that they can depend on to be one of the top 3-4 best players on the field each Sunday.
That's Sean King, former quarterback, of course, NFL analyst for DraftKings. Can you tell us, obviously, I'm sorry, what's the matter, Jay? Let me ask you, as far as
shoot him a text, Jay. Shoot him a text.
I wanted to ask you about Brock Purdy, quarterback to quarterback. We go around and around on Brock Purdy, but you haven't played the position at the highest level. How good is Brock Purdy in your eyes?
I think we're going to find out. I think he's done an admirable job of what he's been asked to do thus far. Now, to whom much is given, much is required, right? So now he's not the 7th round selection that's on a bargain contract for the team as he deserved. He's got a fair market value for a starting young quarterback in the National Football League. Now the pressure, the intensity to not just be average, but be above average and be above average on a consistent basis, we're going to see, can he meet that? I think he's a guy that plays the game with great anticipation. I think he's extremely accurate. I think he's a far better athlete than people give him credit for. I also think he's a little too aggressive at times. I think he puts the ball in harm's way more than he should. We'll see, can he take that next step? And nobody knows this because he's done enough for the people that believe he can do it, have factual evidence, and there are some question marks for the people that think he can't. So this is truly one of those situations where Brock Purdy's going to write his own script moving forward.
Sean King joining us. Hey, Sean, sticking with the 49ers, when I look at some of the additions they made, whether it's through the draft, trade, how do you think what kind of impact will Robert Saleh have, though, on this team, bringing him back in the fold to man that defense?
Well, I don't think it was a deficiency. I mean, when healthy, they had a top 4 or 5 defense in the National Football League. So I think the question is, can Robert Saleh sustain that level of success with a lot of new faces? The Niners' issues were really injury-based last year. They had a lot of guys banged up. 22 guys that they anticipated being their starters, offense and defense. I don't know if they played a game together with all 22. So the thing with Saleh will be, can he get a group of new faces, talented, but different faces to play at the same level of consistency that the group before him did? So I think that's the question.
Mm-hmm. Sean King, let me ask you this. I know that you've talked in the past about how some African-American quarterbacks haven't gotten opportunities when there's some good players been available, like Dante Culpepper, and they didn't get opportunities that perhaps other quarterbacks would have received. Can I ask you, how much progress has the NFL made in terms of opportunities for African-American quarterbacks, in your opinion?
Well, I think it's a fair playing field now.
Uh-huh.
And anybody that says anything different is just, not being objective.
Uh-huh.
The NFL don't care what you look like in 2025 at quarterback. Mm-hmm. They just care whether or not you can play. Now, there will be some situations where the media still has some biases in how they cover your success and failure, but the media can't write you a check. So the 32 teams that can write checks, they don't care. I mean, they just want you to be somebody that can play, or if it's concerning the draft, somebody who can galvanize their fan base and help put butts in the seats. So I think it's a completely objective evaluation in 2025. And I think college football has forced the NFL's hand.
Sean King joining us. All right, Sean. Enough of talking about a 6-11 team. Let's talk about Super Bowl champions. Let's talk about some relevant champion level, caliber level teams. My Philadelphia Eagles. When you look at the landscape of the NFL, and I understand it's very difficult to do. It's hard to do, and they lost a couple of guys. I get that. Are they the favorites in your eyes, not Vegas eyes, in your eyes, to repeat as champs? And what's standing in their way, I guess, if not?
Well, let me knock you off your high horse because everybody's 0-0
Yes!
right now.
Do it!
You know, everybody's 0-0. Nobody's won or lost a game in 2025. I will give the Eagles organization credit. One of the things that doesn't get talked about enough is to lose Jonathan Gannon and Shane Steichen and then still maintain the same level of success. I know they had 1 year where they kind of stumbled their toe a little bit, but to lose both coordinators and ultimately 2 years after that win a championship, I mean, that says a lot about the organization. You know, if you don't think so, then let's see what happens with Detroit over the next 2 years since they lost Aaron Glenn and Ben Johnson. You know, can they sustain it? So hat tip to the Eagles. I think where they've excelled has been in talent acquisition. You know, for a team that has not been picking in the top half of the first round, they've consistently added not just starters, but above average starters to already talented rosters. So the GM, was it Howie Roseman still the GM down there?
Yep.
Yeah, Howie deserves a lot of credit for sustainability. You know, they made the right decisions in free agency. They've had patience with Jalen Hurts. And even though he's still been inconsistent, that confidence internally produced what he showcased in the Super Bowl. So, I mean, they are one of the better organizations right now. I have to tip you, but listen, last year's Super Bowl was in last year. You know, we're 0-0 now, so you got to do it again.
Ancient history.
Dude, I'm gonna milk this for a full calendar year, big fella. I'm gonna ride this high horse until somebody dethrones us.
Just for context, because I was on the most popular team outside of the Eagles in the city of Philadelphia, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. We did whoop that butt at the last game at Veterans Stadium, and we whooped that butt at the first game at Lincoln Financial. Yeah. So I always, when Eagle fans start flying around me, I go ahead and tell them to
hold on.
Next to daddy.
Sean, you're supposed to be an unbiased journalist here. We bring you on for unfiltered, like we don't want. I just want you to shoot it to us straight. X's and O's, big fella. You ain't got to let your personal biases get involved.
Let me give you something to live by. The truth doesn't have emotions. It's just the truth.
Speaking of the truth, Sean, and we're catching up with Sean King. You know, most of us watch football and we're as fans and we're yelling at the quarterback and that guy's terrible. And, you know, most of us have no idea what goes into playing the position. I was a quarterback for the Vikings, Pop Warner, so I have some understanding. But seriously, I'm kidding about that. But could you tell us, what is it? What are some of the things about playing quarterback that are more difficult that most of us watch the game on TV, have no idea is even going on?
I think the hardest aspect of playing quarterback in the National Football League in 2025 is expectations. The prism you look at your team's quarterback through is based on the expectations you had before the season started. And a lot of it has to do with where a young man was drafted. A lot of it has to do with what the quarterback is making from a salary standpoint. So those are the two hardest things because the league is difficult. The defensive linemen are as athletic and talented as they've ever been. You know, the quarterbacks are the least properly trained skill position in the game of football.
Wow.
When you evaluate the quarterback position in 2025, just from a fundamental prism, it's as terrible as it's ever been. The talent level is high, but the fundamental consistency that it takes to play the position almost is non-existent. And because the coaching of the position has gone from iron sharpens iron to let's coddle or not yell, and if it doesn't work, we'll move on and replace it with something else. A lot of these guys haven't been forced to really become introspective and do the things necessary to continue their development. So that's what you're seeing right now. You see a lot of splash plays. You don't see a lot of consistent efficiency.
Sean King joining us. Hey, Sean, I want to go back to the draft. Shedeur Sanders.
You don't want to go back to the Eagles?
No,
I like that part.
I'll get to the tush push question coming up in a minute. I'll ask him about the tush push coming up in a minute. But Shedeur Sanders going 5th round. What do you think was at play there? Because I heard you a few minutes ago talk about, it's a level playing field and, they don't care what color you are now or anything. What do you think happened there?
Well, the number one pick in the draft was a black quarterback, Cam Ward. The most egregious thing about the entire Shedeur Sanders situation is nobody's talking about Cam Ward.
Yeah.
This kid came from a Division III program and went to Washington State, which is basically, what would that be? Southwestern Canada for the most part. to going to the University of Miami and playing himself into the number one pick in the draft, and by doing everything right. I think that's the storyline for this draft that's getting overlooked. But we live in an age where you only keep your job when people consume your product. So Shedeur Sanders is a bigger celebrity. He creates more clicks right now than Cam does. I just think Deion and the people around Shedeur kind of misplayed their hand slightly. The draft for the people that are listening right now, whether they're driving or they're at the office, getting this good sports talk radio right here. The NFL draft is just like you interviewing for a job. Yeah. You can go in that interview and behave any kind of way you want to behave. You can be humble. You can be cocky. You can be confident. You can lack confidence. You can do whatever you want. But how you interview then determines whether that job decides you're fit for them or not. And so I think there were some things that happened during the process. I don't think Shedeur is a bad kid. I think Shedeur is going to be a better kid now that he's outside of the bubble of his dad and his brother Bucky and well-off media. Because he can really be himself. He don't have to live up to being the one son Deion Sanders produced that looks like he's a legitimate top-level football player. He don't have to live up to the pressure of his oldest brother, who's actually Deion Sanders Jr., trying to create his own lane, and he's doing a great job. I'm not talking down on any of it, but I'm saying the pressure Shedeur had to be under to continually produce content with your older brother there. So I think you're going to see the best version of him. And listen, they created a marketing campaign called Legendary. If he's as good as he thinks he is, and I had a late first-round grade on Shedeur, so I think it's egregious, what happened just from a talent evaluation standpoint after the late first round. But if he can't beat out that quarterback room, Joe Flacco is old as me. Kenny Pickett, is still wearing a glove in the middle of the summer on his throwing hand. Dylan Gabriel, I'll be honest, guys, wasn't a draftable quarterback in my opinion.
Damn.
So, he should be able to beat that quarterback room out and become the starter in Cleveland. And, he's going to write his own script from there.
Sean, what do you think expectations should be? What's realistic as far as Aaron Rodgers, 41 years old with the Steelers?
Oh, they Super Bowl or bust, 100%. Like Aaron Rodgers is not Shedeur Sanders. Aaron Rodgers is a first ballot Hall of Famer, multiple NFL MVP, already has a Super Bowl, to his credit. He will tell you anything that doesn't result in him hoisting the Lombardi Trophy is going to be a failure because he's playing now for life after football. Like, what is he going to be remembered as? Right now, when they talk about the greatest quarterbacks in the history of the National Football League, Aaron Rodgers' name ain't going to come up. Number one, because he's become disliked by some of his choices off the field as to how he deals with the media and, how, he prioritizes football in the offseason. And then people are going to look at the record. Well, as great as he was as an individual talent, they only got the two, only won one, so he's going to fall behind in that all-time GOAT race. So this is for legacy.
Sean King joining us. Hey, Sean, I said I'd mention the tush push. It's around for another year. As a quarter,
guys, listen, with everything going on with Diddy, can we call it the QB?
All right.
Come on, guys.
You had to go there, man. I wasn't even
the brotherly shove.
Brotherly shove. How about
Something.
that? Brotherly shove. From a quarterback standpoint, just what are your thoughts on that play?
I guarantee you 100%. If you ask Jalen Hurts, he hates that play.
Why do you think?
But it's something that they've mastered, that they're effective with. It probably will determine the number 1, 2 overall pick in every fantasy football draft in America. So it does have relevance.
You're right. Yeah.
I mean, it adds another handful or more rushing touchdowns to Jalen Hurts and Josh Allen, the Bulls and the Bills and the Eagles, teams that use it, most consistently, especially in 5. So I don't think they should have gotten rid of it. I don't really know how you fix it. I mean, it's just kind of one of those. It's like a glitch in the game if you play video games. It exists. It's there. You got to figure out a way to not stop it, but negate its effectiveness.
Sean King, can we ask you what kind of things are you doing off the football field right now that are more important than football?
I am fighting the hardest battle in life. Be seen and stay out the way at the same time.
How do you do that? Like, explain that to me. How do you do that? Because that's a good line. I need to figure that out.
It's almost impossible because to get a job, they ask about your Q rating, but then when you're in the way, drama and all kind of other stuff finds you. So I'm still trying to figure it out, but I asked myself that question. I might come back on a little bit later. Let me do this. Brock Purdy has a big game early in the year. You guys bring me back on, and maybe I have an answer for you then.
Okay, we could do that. Sean, let me ask you.
You're a lot better than a lot of the people that spend a lot of time and make a lot of money talking football.
I appreciate that, man. Call one of these big companies and tell them I keep finishing second. I've been up for quite a few jobs, man. I keep finishing second, so hopefully I'll win one of these coin flips here soon.
Sean, I want to ask you about your career. Obviously, starting for Tampa Bay, some successful seasons there. When you look at the current state of the NFL in terms of the aerial attack, throwing the ball, how does that compare to when you played late 90s, early 2000s?
Well, the game back then was about efficiency. I mean, most teams didn't throw the ball over 25 times a game. So you had to be extremely efficient. Now it's about volume. The game has changed so drastically. I always tell the story, when John Gruden, one of the foremost offensive minds in the game of football, when he became the head coach in Tampa, we were under center in 2-minute offense. Like, I know people don't know what 2-minute offense is, but that was like the only time you would normally go shotgun back in the late 90s, early 2000s, and that would be 2 minutes before the half and 2 minutes in the game. If you're behind, the entire game is played in the shotgun for the most part. And the ball is thrown around the field a lot more than it used to be. The rules are now much more preferential towards offensive, explosive plays. I tell these young quarterbacks, when they start, sometimes, the money makes you talk, but the experience, will humble you. And I was like, you're making more than us now, but I don't know if you could have played back then. See, when you threw the ball, the D lineman could legally take 2 steps and then fully contact you. And that was considered a part of the game. So it was a different era. It was a different time. Happy for these young guys that are getting to, play a more open game where they can showcase their talent. And I'll never forget this, man. I was basically a shotgun quarterback my senior year at Tulane. And I got to Tampa, man. We had a fullback and a tight end, and I was 3-step throwing, the boundary slant on 3rd and 4. Good God almighty. But, as a young player, you try and, fit in. We didn't have a voice, to kind of express any concerns we would have had publicly, man. Boy, America's evolved a lot. I used to get my information from the newspaper. Guys, I remember used to go outside and they would put the newspaper in plastic, and you unwrap it and find out what happened the day before. Like, it was only one sports center back then. It was at 11 at night, East Coast.
The good old days.
Right. So things have changed a little bit. Now a guy gets mad, he can go erase the team from his Twitter page and it's national news. So, oh, my bad, from his X page. I want Elon to get mad at me.
Right now. Hey, Sean, coming from St. Petersburg, Florida, I've never asked you this. And I don't know the answer. Maybe it was your only offer, but I doubt it. What took you to Tulane versus staying in Florida, playing Florida State, Florida, Miami, those type of situation, and playing for Rich Rod? How was playing for Rich Rod?
Well, in 1995, if you were 6'1", around that 200-pound mark, give or take a little bit over or under, they just didn't evaluate you to play quarterback. The number 1 and 2 quarterbacks in the state of Florida in 1995 were me and Dante Culpepper. I went to Tulane. Culpepper went to UCF. Bobby Bowden and Steve Spurrier both offered me full scholarships. They sat on my couch and said it was to play safety. And I said, man, I ain't tackling nobody on an interception. What are y'all talking about? I didn't play both ways in high school. I was just a quarterback, very good one if I may toot my own horn a little bit. But that's how far college football has come. And that's why the NFL has changed, because college football has forced it to change. But back in 95, man, if you were, and this is just me telling the truth, I went through the process. And that just Tulane was giving me the opportunity to play quarterback. And I had offers from everywhere, guys. South Carolina, Tennessee. I think Tennessee was the only one I think was lying to me and telling me that I could play quarterback, because they had just signed Peyton Manning and Brandon Stewart the year before. So they were telling me I could play quarterback, but maybe they were lying, maybe they weren't. I know when Peyton finally left, T. Martin, was the quarterback there. So maybe they were telling the truth, but we didn't have a lot of options, as a black quarterback, not at the big schools. They viewed you as an athlete more than a quarterback, even though I only played quarterback.
I hope you'll forgive me for asking this, but I want to ask you about the Bert Emanuel play. I was not pulling for your team then, but it bothers me to this day. It's a big catch. You guys have it's ruled a catch, and then they go to replay rule. It's not a catch. They go back, change the rule where it would be a catch now. How was that extremely difficult to deal with? I mean, that's just so patently unfair. And in some ways it may change the history of pro football.
Well, first of all, you got to acknowledge that you were on the wrong side of history, so you weren't pulling for us back in 99.
That's true. I admit.
Secondly, this is one of the most egregious oversights in sports history. They did a documentary on the Bert Emanuel catch, NFL Films, and I'm not even in the mofo. They didn't ask me a question. They didn't get my opinion, and I'm still trying to figure out, God damn, somebody had us on the ball, right?
That is a strange one.
Well, yeah. What's the dude's name that's the voice of NFL Films, or Scooble, or so what's his name? I'm still looking for him. I know it wasn't his decision, but I was hurt by that. I really was hurt by that.
Yeah. Gotcha.
Oh, man. Our guy, Sean.
Leave it at that.
All right, Sean, you want to wrap it up here, buddy?
Yeah. Thank you, Sean. We appreciate it. We really would love to have you back on soon, whether Brock Purdy has a big game or not. Thank you for your time, and best of luck to you. You're
all
one
right,
of a
one
kind.
thing before I leave, man.
Yeah.
I know you guys do a great job there. You got a great relationship with the players. Can somebody call Deebo Samuel and tell him to move away from the table, please? Good
Come
Lord.
on, Sean. Hey, Sean, it's June, big fella. It's June. He'll be all right come September. Come on now.
He gonna be like Keyshawn Davis. He gonna miss weight.
Thank you, Sean.
See you later, man.
He's ain't gonna miss weight.
Oh, yes. One of a kind. Sean King.
Oh, that was good stuff.
Today's
Summer sermons.
Yeah.
I like this.
Mm-hmm.
Good stuff.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
He pushed back on you on the Eagles.
Yeah. I mean, I understand he's a Tampa Bay guy and everything like that, but his team ain't been relevant since he played there. So what is he, or since Tom Brady was there?
Then they went up.
Tom Brady.
A couple years ago.
I don't remember that. That was a bridge year. That was a bridge year. That's a lost year. That was COVID year or something like that.
Bridge year. We're back to the NBA Finals when we come back. If the Thunder don't figure this out, they may be in major trouble. Next on Sacktown Sports.
Hey, it's Carmichael Dave here for American Energy, and oh my goodness, I'm born and raised here. I know it gets hot, but my goodness, we're already seeing 100-degree days. Listen to me. You do not want your system to conk out in the middle of June or July or August with one of those big 100-degree stretches. You want to make sure you're good all summer long. And my friends at American Energy Heating and Air can do that with a $24.50 tune-up right now. That's half price. And if you need a new system, $3,500 off, up to $3,500 off in rebates for qualified systems. They've been around since 1981, serving the greater Sacramento area. A+ with the Better Business Bureau. Call them right now, 916-520-9990. That's 916-520-9990. Jingle Singers, take it away.
Call 916-520-9990 now.
Hi, Sacramento. It's the No Surprise Guys at Bell Brothers Plumbing and Air Conditioning. Is your AC on the fritz? Call Bell Brothers. Looking to replace your old unit with a 0% financing and no payments for 12 months on approved credit? Call Bell Brothers. We're fast, reliable, and respect your time by showing up when we say we will. The price we quote is the price you pay. We are the No Surprise Guys. Call today to get a free estimate on a new HVAC system, or simply schedule your $87 AC Precision tune-up to keep your system running smoothly. With more technicians, more trucks, and more experience, we get the job done right the first time. No surprises. Our technicians are all background checked, drug tested, and will leave the work area cleaner than they found it. Don't wait. Call Bell Brothers today or book online at nosurpriseguys.com. That's nosurpriseguys.com.
Want the best movie experience in town? Join Sacktown Sports IMAX Pass by visiting sacktownsports.com. Sign up today. You can win tickets to see this week's films at the Esquire IMAX Theater.
This is the story of the one. As a safety manager at a manufacturing plant, he does everything he can to keep his coworkers safe. From finding ways to reduce risks to keeping safety supplies in stock. And for that, he relies on Grainger. Grainger offers a broad range of quality products and next-day delivery, so he can always play it safe. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
This Father's Day at Lowe's, score free gifts for the greatest dad. Right now, get a free select DeWalt, Craftsman, or Cobalt tool with purchase of a select battery kit. Plus, get a free Werner 2-foot aluminum ladder when you buy an 8-foot fiberglass ladder. Shop these deals and more this Father's Day at Lowe's. We help, you save. Valid through 6/15 while supplies last. Selection varies by location.
Staples presents That Was Easy.
So I was taking my side hustle full time.
Bold move, my friend.
And I needed to find everything in one stop.
Like finding Bigfoot riding a unicorn.
Yes, so I hit the Staples Easy button. Staples had everything for a new office and print services for signs and brochures. Plus, Cindy, the Staples associate, helped me find the best tech for me.
Wait, no drama?
No, Staples made it easy.
For the products, services, and experts your business needs. Staples.
That was easy.
In-store, online, and on the app.
The Giant Summer Sale is here. Get giant savings on our giant selection only at Folsom Lake Honda, your one-stop Honda shop.
Looking to own or lease? Save during the Giant Summer Sale and drive a brand new Accord or Civic. Visit us today at FolsomLakeHonda.com, your one-stop Honda shop.
As a family-owned and operated dealership since 2009, customer service is our number one priority. Our customers love doing business with us, and you will too.
Folsom Lake Honda.
Go to FolsomLakeHonda.com.
Your one-stop Honda shop.
Your next adventure is waiting at Sky River Casino with a $500,000 travel around the world giveaway. Get one free daily entry and 100 bonus entries every Monday and Tuesday. Earn more entries by playing slots and table games. Join us every Saturday, where you can pack your bags as our guaranteed $15,000 dream vacation winner. Visit skyriver.com for details. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Must be 21 or older.
With 25 award-winning years in Northern California, Ashton & Price is your local injury law firm. Pro attorney tip: if a firm presents as local but they're in LA, red flag. If your first consultation is not with a lawyer, big red flag. At Ashton & Price, your first consult is with a local attorney, and if serious injury prevents travel, a lawyer will come to you. Still not enough? George Washington's my uncle. At Ashton & Price, no red flags, just red, white, and blue.
Remember, for the best advice, don't think twice. Call Ashton and Price.
KHD1 Sacramento, KYMX HD3 Sacramento. From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios.
This is Sacktown Sports 1140.
It was me, you ain't me, cooking games on the wall, same click, same friends.
Your afternoon home for Kings Talk and so much more. The Drive Guys on Sacktown Sports.
Before we get any further, I got to make sure Drapes and Jay are okay with each other because they had a little back and forth earlier today about the U.S. Open. Drapes is looking for, where is it? I can't find it on TV. Jay said some disparaging things about, A, the U.S. Open, B, anybody who would want to watch the U.S. Open on TV, and I want to make sure you guys are okay.
Well, I'm not okay. This dude behind me.
Yeah.
Purports himself as the commissioner of the City of Trees, the mayor of the City of Trees. Now, I'm watching the tournament. I got it up on my laptop here as well. I'm watching my guy, Zach Polo, from Rockland, California.
Really?
Is that the City of Trees or is that different
I'm just saying, hey, I represent Northern California.
Okay,
I ride for
got
Northern
you.
California.
So you represent the Warriors too then?
From Vallejo on up. From Richmond on up. All right. But my boy Zach Polo, Rockland.
Yeah.
Guess what he's doing, Whitey?
I had no idea. I'll be honest with you.
-1.
Because you can't watch it.
Through 10.
Over here.
Tied for 8th.
How about that?
That's out
Exactly.
the
See, so I'm all about uplifting the local people. You know what I mean? Shining the light, giving them their flowers. And so when Jay disses the U.S. Open, I'm like, hold up. My guy Zach Polo here is making his move right now.
What makes Oakmont such a challenging track there, Drapes?
Well, the rough is unbelievable, and the slopes of the green.
You don't have water and you don't have trees, right? What's the problem?
When I saw it, I was like, there's no trouble there.
Yeah.
But the rough right off the green is like 5 inches long, and the slope of the green, the course is playing long. Come on, Whitey. Dial in, big fella. Lock in.
Mm-hmm. I'm just setting you up.
What's Scotty Scheffler shooting right now, Whitey? What's that at the bottom?
Scotty Scheffler's 2 over.
Exactly. World #1 player struggling. Mm-hmm. It's a tough track, man. It's tough.
I don't know. Let's see. Spawn is leading?
Yeah, Spawn. Bogey-free round. Only the 8th in Oakmont history, U.S. Open history.
Somebody wanted to know in the chat, too, how you hit him yesterday at the range. You did tell us you were probably going out there. You didn't make it?
I did not make it.
Okay.
Grab something to eat. It was windy and cold last night. Did you guys feel that? About 7:45, right after the game? I went and watched the game, and I was going to hit. And it was too cold out there. I was like,
Yeah, we got
from
people.
Philly. Wait.
No, but I had the shorts on.
Come on.
I had
you
the
got
shorts
California
and the
blood
shirt.
now?
Come on, man.
Philly, Boston.
Dude, it was blustery out there.
It was. I took my dog for a walk, and I was like, oh, it's frigid out here a little bit.
Yeah, I was shocked. And so the plan is to hit balls tonight, though.
Yeah.
Immediately after, because there's no game, no NBA game.
You remind me of one of the dumbest things I ever said when I was doing team tennis out at Sunrise Mall, and the Capitals are playing. I remember her name's Olga Barabanchikova.
Oh, yeah.
And I forget which team she was on, but it was a little windy, and so she called timeout or something to put on a jacket. And on the microphone, I was saying, she's from Russia, and it's too cold for her here.
You actually said that out loud.
I did say that. Yeah, she didn't appreciate that.
I'm sure she did.
Yeah.
No post-game interview or no.
Olga
wasn't having
it. Throw it against the wall. And
look at that. Who's this about?
Different times.
Look at that rough. This look like Jay's backyard. This rough is so thick.
Brooks Koepka. Nice chip.
Oh, almost went in. Come on, man. I was locked in today, watching it all morning long.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't even watch the ESPN shows.
All right. We're going to be joined by, I should say, Nathan Grubel.
Oh, yeah, Jay set up the guest today.
10 minutes here. Nathan Grubel, basketball analyst and founder of Drafts Deeper No Ceilings NBA. Look at the upcoming NBA draft. Now we have word that maybe the Kings going to be moving up. So we'll talk about that. As far as last night, Drapes, I think if the Thunder don't figure out how to execute better down the stretch, they could be in a spot of legitimate trouble in these NBA finals.
You're right about that, Whitey. I looked at some of the numbers somebody posted. The Thunder, throughout the first 3 games, are outscoring the Pacers in the first quarter, second quarter, and third quarter. But they're getting blasted in the fourth quarter. And so, what Magic Johnson call it, winning time?
Yes.
And so, give the Pacers credit, man, because they never play like they're out of it, you know? They always, and so if you're.
It's almost like they don't know any better.
Right. And so if you're OKC, like you said earlier, you know, you got to lock in. You got to, you know, you can't be coasting in the fourth quarter, being too cool for school or anything like that, because you know this Pacers team is coming. And so I got to give Pacers a lot of credit, man. Not many people thought they, you know, can put up a big fight, but they've been proving doubters wrong all season long right now.
Yes, and I definitely have been a doubter of theirs in this series. And I go back to last Friday when Jerry Reynolds came on. He said, oh, they could win this series. And I texted him last night, and he said, they just have a great bench.
Right. Dude, Benedict Mathurin dropping 25 off the bench, the best player out there scoring-wise. And then we haven't really talked about Tyrese.
You shortchanged him 2 points.
What do you have? He's
27.
27? Yeah, 27?
The last 2 free throws, remember?
Oh, yeah. The last, oh, shoot. Benedict Mathurin, my guy. And so
27 in 22 minutes.
That is crazy. That's unheard of for a bench guy to do that. And then Tyrese still ain't got to the free throw line yet.
I know.
Which is crazy, but he was much more impactful.
2-1.
Yeah, he was right. That is crazy. But he was so much more impactful last night.
Yeah.
And so
we have a chance to have a classic series, don't we? And I don't know. I assume people aren't watching that.
Yeah.
I don't care. We have a chance for a great series.
We do, man. And, you know, it's the games have been good so far. But to your point, OKC got to kind of wake up. You know, no need to panic yet or anything like that. But tomorrow is it. And so where's that sense of urgency? You know, I thought Chet Holmgren, my boy, and he's being ripped a lot. You know, obviously not a good second half or fourth quarter. I thought he came out on fire, ready to go. He was ready, you know, but where was everybody else? We talk about the depth of OKC, Whitey. Hartenstein, 4 points. Caruso playing 32 minutes. And a solid player, 8 points, 4 assists. But then you look at the Pacers, they had TJ McConnell. TJ McConnell outplayed Caruso and Hartenstein and those guys. Pacers are the deeper team, it seems like.
OKC had Wiggins. He's a really good player. He didn't score.
Yeah.
Isaiah Joe had 6 points. Pacers, as you say, they go deep into the bench and they get production from all those guys.
Yeah.
And they play. I know this is kind of cliche, but it's true. They play with energy and effort. And those are kind of basketball buzzwords. And, you know, every coach at every level now talks about the importance of playing with energy and effort. But Indiana truly does play with energy and effort.
Yes.
All the way down the stretch.
Throughout the game.
And it was something that, you know, by the time OKC realized they were getting outmatched in those areas, it was too late. The game was already lost for them.
Yeah.
And then they missed free throws down the stretch too.
Right. And I don't think when I watch OKC, and I'm talking about J-Dub specifically, tremendous young player. Can't, I don't want to, you know, diss him or anything like that. But they lack some poise when the game's on the line.
Yeah, they definitely do.
Even SGA.
Yes.
As great as he is, MVP and everything. Like, even he kind of looks like he gets sped up or forced into the bad shots. Or, you know, where's the poise at late in games for them?
Yeah, the ball gets stuck down the stretch of games.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, they become maybe not easier to guard, but a lot simpler to defend.
Yes.
And as somebody says here in the chat, too, I think it's Campy, are we not recognizing the Pacers play great defense? They came into the series with a reputation of a, you know, pretty good defensive team. I think they were, what were they, 13th in defensive rating? But they're getting better defensively.
Right.
And they're wreaking havoc defensively. And they're putting pressure on the basketball. And OKC is on their heels a little bit in a way that you can tell OKC did not expect to be in this predicament right now.
Right. And their defense is, it's not like it's technique defense. Their defense comes with effort, Whitey.
Yes,
you know, like
yes.
they play harder than the other team. And, you know, what I feel like has happened with them, whether it's during the regular season or, you know, maybe they found something in the playoffs, they found if they want to win, this is how they have to play. First half of the regular season, they didn't have that. Like they played hard and everything, but now it's like they're relentless. That's who we thought OKC was.
Mm-hmm.
And we're not seeing that from the Thunder right now.
Yeah, I think that's who OKC thought they were. And I think it's a little stunning to realize they're getting outplayed in those areas. You mentioned Chet Holmgren received a lot of criticism. So did the Hall of Famer, Pacer legend, Reggie Miller, for what he was wearing last night. Did you see that?
I saw that. I ain't going to get on. Dude, how old is Reggie Miller?
50.
Let me look it up. Let me look it up.
53. I don't know.
59.
59.
When you 59 years old, you can wear whatever the hell you want.
Mm-hmm.
You're a 59-year-old man. You ain't got to be up with the latest trends and fashion and everything like that. The issue I had with Reggie Miller is he need to sit his ass down and look at the royalty that's sitting right next to him.
The Big
O.
Right.
Give the Big O more shot. I felt like Reggie was, taking too much of the camera.
I saw, that's Reggie. Hey, I think that's Oscar
Oscar Robertson.
Robertson.
Hey, bow down to one of the all-time greats. That's the only issue I had with Reggie. The outfit.
It wasn't the outfit. It was that he had a yellow hoodie on with Mark Jackson's jersey over it. Okay.
Tucked in.
He tucked in the jersey over the hoodie.
Dude.
Kinda. So.
You know what? You remember what my middle school motto was, Whitey?
I don't know that I ever knew it.
And Jay knows it. He might not remember it. It is dare to be different.
Okay, I do remember that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
See? So Reggie's being different.
Yours, but...
No, it was my middle school. Not me, but my middle school. That was our motto there. Dare to be different. Reggie's being a little different. I'm not going to hate on him for that. Man.
What is it with Indiana and all the basketball stuff? I mean, I'm aware of it intellectually, and we've talked to Jerry Reynolds about it, and I know Hoosiers, but I can't honestly say I understand it. Why is basketball like a religion in that particular state?
That's a great question, man. And I used to cover IU basketball, high school basketball in Indiana all the time. And I don't know what it is about that state, but it is. It's 100% true. The high school gyms are packed.
And I'm not casting aspersions. I'm just saying I really don't understand how it got that way.
Does it go back to Hoosiers? I have no idea.
Yeah.
I have no idea. But no, they take their basketball seriously there.
Yeah.
They really do.
Didn't they have, the tournament that was detailed in Hoosiers where every high school in the state plays in that tournament?
Makes it, yeah. It's one of the great things. And then they, play at the field house there, championship Saturday or whatever it is. No, it's truly amazing. And there's nothing, I remember walking into, because I used to cover high school basketball a lot. You go into these gyms and they're packed, Whitey. Like the energy. It's like a scene from the movie. It really is, in Jeffersonville, Indiana, New Albany, Indiana. I can drop all the names out there. Floyd's Knobs and all that, And so, man, it truly means something there. No doubt about it. No doubt.
Yeah. And their fans showed out last night. I got OKC fans have the reputation of being the craziest, but I think Indiana gave them a run for their money last night.
Yeah, and those Pacer fans, man, they it's always been a tough place to play, but I don't know if they got their due during the regular season. Like OKC during the regular season, you can see it. Pacers were like the sleeping giant, and then all of a sudden, which is surprising because they made the Eastern Conference Finals last year, but all of a sudden it's like people are recognizing, damn, that's a good team and a tough place to play.
They're another great example of something that I know, speaking for myself, I forget every year. We get into November, December, and we talk about the Kings are struggling, or wow, this team looks terrible. You go back to the Celtics in 2022, January, they were talking about tearing the team apart. They went to the finals, almost won the finals. Indiana this year was kind of like, they're all right. Right now, they're continuing to play better and better every game. So what's going on in November, December doesn't matter as much as what's going on in March and April.
Exactly. They're peaking at the right time. Man.
They are.
And tomorrow's a must-win for OKC.
Right now, we're peaking at the upcoming draft. Our next guest, basketball analyst, founder, Draft Deeper, No Ceilings NBA, Nathan Grubel with us. How are you today, Nathan?
I'm doing well, guys. It's draft season. I can't be more excited for the next few weeks.
We are hearing reports with a question mark. Some of it is just trumped up rumors, but we're hearing the Kings maybe moving up into the draft, into maybe in the 20s, early 20s. Do you expect a lot of movement before the draft? Any idea whether we're going to have a lot of trades or any trades, Nathan, towards the top of this draft?
So at the top of the draft, listen, there's a lot coming out today about the Philadelphia 76ers inquiring with the San Antonio Spurs about possibly moving up to 2. There's also been conversations Philly could possibly move back in the draft. I don't expect a ton of movement at the top. I still think we're in the middle of smokescreen season, and I still think at the end of the day, we know who goes 1. I think we have a pretty good idea. San Antonio sticks at 2. And then the question is, what is Philly going to do at 3? So I don't expect a ton of movement at those top 2 picks. But throughout the draft, guys, I mean, listen, we're in a very unique era in the NBA where, because of a lot of different salary restrictions, because of all the apron rules and everything with the CBA, I could certainly see some guys potentially be out there for some teams early in the second round to mid-second round. Maybe some teams talk themselves into spending a few second-round picks, maybe moving up and going to get a guy that they can get on a relatively cheap contract that they see can contribute right away, potentially even in a rotation spot next season. So I do think as we move through the draft to the first round into the second, we're going to see some action.
Nathan Grubel joining us. Hey, Nathan, I want to stay right there, late first round, second round. Is there anybody that you have your eye on that is projected second round that could make an immediate impact or be a rotation player? Is there anybody out there that good?
I'll give you a few guys. So first, if we want to talk about some potential guard options, I like Cam Jones out of Marquette. I think he's been undervalued a lot throughout this process. There's some skepticism about his game in regards to being a little too left-hand dependent. You know, he's going one way, and some of the off the dribble shooting was a little bit questionable this year at Marquette. But if you go back and look at his college career, he's actually been a much better shooter off the dribble every other year. So we have larger prior samples to look at, not just a one-season sample size. Really improved his game out of the pick and roll, can get downhill, finish at the basket, finish through contact, tough playmaker, rugged defender. So I really like his veteran experience to be able to come in, maybe contribute, add some value. Ryan Kalkbrenner's a center, a big man projected to go in the second round, late first, early second. He's going to have some potential issues if he has to step out a ton on the perimeter, maybe can get caught on an island in the NBA. But if you're a team that's very comfortable playing in a drop coverage setup defensively, obviously he's a valuable rim protector, elite rebounder at his position, and him stepping out and being able to space the floor from three-point range, something he's added to his game his last few seasons at Creighton. I think he could potentially be a very nice, valuable addition. And then at the wing spot, I like 2 wings, Sion James out of Duke and Kobe Brea out of Kentucky. Both of them provide different things in terms of skill sets. Kobe Brea is much more a shooting specialist, but measured in really well at the combine, 6'6", has some good length to him, versatile shooter, can get it off the dribble, can run him off movement, have him come working in ball screen actions. I think he could be a valuable shooter off the bench. And then Sion James, you saw his versatility at Duke, about 6'5", rugged frame, can get downhill, finish strong around the basket, can create for others, run that backup point guard spot in a pinch, and he can guard multiple positions on the perimeter. So those are a bunch of guys I like in that early second round territory.
And let me add to that, Nathan, Kobe Brea, Kings are working him out tomorrow.
Oh, okay,
he's part of the group that Sacramento is working out tomorrow. So.
Yeah. Speaking of the Kings, we're talking with Nathan Grubel from Draft Deeper. The last one of your mocks that I saw, and I apologize if this isn't recent because I know you're updating him, you had Tyrese Proctor going to the Kings at 42, assuming they stay there. A lot of fans are excited about that around here because, you know, Duke is Duke. But tell us about Tyrese Proctor.
Proctor's an interesting player, and listen, he was regarded heavily coming over to Duke originally as a freshman, certainly took his lumps trying to play the point guard position, but essentially moved off the ball a little bit this year at Duke, entering his third season, and it really paid dividends for him. You can kind of see his transformation in his game resembled a lot of what Quentin Grimes went through in college. When he started at Kansas, he was projected to be a more dominant on-ball point guard, eventually moved off the ball while transferring to Houston, progressed under Kelvin Sampson and really became a 3-and-D type player. And with Proctor, we saw a lot of that progression this year when he was moved off the ball and was put strictly into a shooter's role. I mean, he was lights out from all over the floor for Duke, was one of the team's best role players, underrated defensive player. And then if you go back to the on-ball reps that he does have experience playing in pick-and-roll offense and being able to make decisions and see that next pass and keep the ball moving. So I tend to value, in terms of role players, a lot of these guys who have more experience playing on the ball, have had higher usage reps, and then they can take that and ultimately scale down to more of a specialist role. They're asked to do a few things on the floor, but they have that prior experience to where if they're catching the ball late on a rotation, they know what they need to do with it. It's not just that they can go up and take a shot, but if they have to attack a closeout, attack their matchup off the dribble, they can either go get a bucket off the bounce or they can keep the ball moving, get it to the next guy. So I think Proctor would be a pretty good fit in the second round for the Kings.
What do you make of Ryan Nembhard? Is he too undersized? Watching his older brother do some things out here with the Pacers in the finals. Kings need a point guard. Just give me your scouting report on him. He's also working out for Sacramento tomorrow.
Ooh. He's getting a lot of buzz in the second round, and I think before the combine process, he wasn't necessarily projected to be one of the top 60 guys or top 59 guys drafted, but going through the combine process, I think teams were reminded of just how smart of a point guard that he is. He is truly one of the better cerebral decision makers that we have in this draft class. I understand that he's undersized, but listen, anytime that you can get a guard to be a backup or a third guard or a fourth guard, someone on the bench who's experienced making decisions, low turnover profile, they can make all the different passes out of pick and roll that you need them to, can spray it out to shooters. And if Ryan Nembhard's jumper is as good as it's been advertised in recent combine drills and team workouts that you've been hearing some of the buzz around, I mean, now you're looking at the type of offensive guard who, listen, he might not have the highest upside, but we've seen guys like him stick around the league for a few years and ultimately prove valuable in backup roles and even break out maybe to become a rotational type of guard. So I don't know if I'd be looking to draft Nembhard at 42 personally or in that type of range. But I mean, if you're looking at maybe getting him a little bit later, if you trade back in or he goes undrafted, you get him on a two-way type of deal and you let him sort of prove and earn that type of rotational spot, that would be what I personally would prefer. But I don't blame teams for sniffing around him, in the mid to late second round, just because, again, he has the pedigree. His brother Andrew's doing awesome in the NBA, so teams really like a lot of those professional bloodlines. I don't blame teams one bit for sniffing around.
We're catching up with draft analyst Nathan Grubel from Draft Deep or No Ceilings NBA. Where do you anticipate the drop-off being talent-wise first round? I assume after 3 or 4 we go down. How many tiers do you see to the first round talent-wise, as best as we can tell here, Nathan?
Excellent question. So Cooper's obviously in a tier of himself, Cooper flagged, and then I would essentially have Dylan Harper in a tier of his own. And then right after that, you have a nice group of guys anywhere from like picks 3 all the way down to maybe like 11, 12, 13, 14. I think a lot of those guys were in a very similar tier. But even after that, guys, like 15 all the way down to about 25, 26, I think there's a lot of real deal contributors that can be found in this draft. Maybe this draft isn't as quote unquote star laden after those first 2 picks, but I really think there's a lot of valuable role player contributors that can be found in this class that can do a variety of different things for you. Do you want maybe a defensive focused prospect where you can get like a VJ Edgecombe that's going to go in the lottery, a Colin Murray Boyles? Do you need a skilled big man who can grow into maybe being a big man plus and a Derek Queen or a Common Malawatch? Do you need some versatile wings who can maybe defend multiple positions and shoot the 3 ball? You got guys like Carter Bryant, Nick Clifford, Cedric Coward. I can go on and on. There's value to be found all the way down to about 25, 26 in this draft.
Oh, there it is. The Kings trying to get up into 20 to 25.
Yeah.
Hey, Nathan, we know Cooper's going to go number 1, but it seems to be it's a unanimous he's the number 1 guy. But what kind of level of a superstar of a player do you project him to be? I mean, is he a once in a generation type? Is he a potential Hall of Famer? Like, how good do you think he can be at the next level? The
sky's the limit for Cooper Flag. Wow. And I mean that genuinely. And I've been I've been researching and evaluating prospects for 14 going on 15 years now, and he's one of the best that I've evaluated at the top of a draft class. I mean, I don't think he's necessarily Victor Wembanyama, but you look after that, you look at some of the other guys who were number one or were in contention for number one. I mean, Cooper's right there with some of the best that we've seen go. I mean, we've had Anthony Davis, we've had Paolo, we've had Zion. I certainly had Chet Holmgren in the conversation with Paolo that year for number one. Cade Cunningham. I mean, you put Cooper with some of these guys. And I think what makes Cooper so special, not just how young he was playing at Duke and becoming the star that he became in college, but it's the fact that he truly did it on both sides of the ball. And one of the biggest nitpicks that you generally see with younger players is they aren't always going to be the best defensively, both on the ball as well as off the ball. And with Cooper, you saw the on-ball intensity, but you also saw all of the off-ball playmaking that makes him so elite. His ability to jump passing lanes, his ability to block shots at the basket and really be that secondary type of rim protector on the back end. You can envision Cooper being a 1 through 4 defender on top of everything that he grew into offensively as far as handling the ball, manipulating ball screens, hitting three-point shots off the dribble, hitting mid-range shots off the dribble, strong finisher, athletic high flyer around the basket. Like, there really aren't many holes in Cooper Flagg's game at all. And when you talk about ceilings, I really like a lot of the Jason Tatum comparisons that have been thrown out there in terms of what Tatum has become for the Celtics. When he first got to the NBA, Tatum was much more focused on, being a spot-up shooter than taking more of those isolation elements to his game and being able to break somebody down one-on-one. But now you look at Tatum, and he does everything for that Celtics team, especially from a playmaking standpoint. I think Cooper can grow into being that type of player. So Dallas is certainly getting a home run with that number one pick.
Nathan Grubel. Nathan, thank you. I want to send you off with this, and I couldn't be more sincere. One of my pet peeves in sports media, we all do it sometimes, but people are always throwing stuff out there, predictions, and talking about how good this player is. And if we're right, great. And if not, never mind. But you hold yourself accountable, and we can go back and look at where you've missed on past drafts because you post that. And I think that I applaud you for that. And obviously you do a really good job, but thank you for doing that. I mean, that makes everything that you say now more substantial and more meaningful because you hold yourself accountable. So thank you for that.
No, I appreciate the kind words and sincerity on your end, guys. I mean, truthfully, as analysts, the only way that we're able to grow is when we're able to admit our wrongs and certainly be able to take pieces from that and learn from it wholeheartedly. And I've certainly made my mistakes in evaluating. I like to think that I get a lot right, but when I'm wrong, sometimes I can be very, very wrong. And so I always have to take from those misses and learn something and bring it back for the next year and years to come. So thank you, guys.
Thank you, Nathan. We appreciate it. We'll talk to you soon.
Absolutely. Take care, guys.
Yeah, when we come back, about that Peja thing next, Sacktown Sports.
Ooh. $5,000. That's the average amount of money people in the U.S. are now spending on gas in a year. $5,000. That's crazy. If you drive, you have to download Upside, the free app that gives you cash back every time you get gas. That's right. You can earn real cash back with Upside just by buying the gas you're already buying. You can literally start earning cash back today.
I use Upside every time I fill up, and I've already made around $200-$300.
You're putting gas in your car anyway. Why not get real cash back? If you like free money, download Upside.
I'm saving the cash I earn from using Upside to help pay for a vacation later this year.
Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code GREEN to get an extra 25 cents per gallon on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank, PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code GREEN for a 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code GREEN for a 25 cents per gallon bonus.
Golf to Go is brought to you by the Hagen Oaks Golf Super Shop. Here's Frank LaRosa.
According to Bogey Jones in the Daily Divot, golf is the best sport ever, and they provide a few reasons why. Some include no two courses are the same, so you'll never get bored. Some are wicked long, others have super thick rough, and others have fast greens. Enjoy the variety. You can make the game competitive with anyone. With other sports, bigger, stronger, younger opponents may have an edge. In golf, different tees and a formal handicap system makes it competitive, even if you're a 30 handicap. Golf can't be conquered, One day you can't miss a shot, the next day you want to throw all your clubs into the lake. The unpredictability is fascinating, and age is just a number. You can play when you're 70 years old. In fact, some don't take up the game until later in life, but don't wait that long. And you'll meet amazing people, celebrities, athletes, successful CEOs. You never know who you'll meet on a golf course. And oh yeah, it's a game. So have some fun. That's your Golf to Go. I'm Frank LaRosa.
Finally, an easy way to find home improvement contractors. Just visit subcontractorsunited.com and simplify your search for home services professionals. From cabinets to windows, roofing to plumbing, Subcontractors United is an easy, simple way to find and hire a home improvement contractor. And you never have to give up personal information. So no harassing phone calls like you get from those other websites. Subcontractorsunited.com is sponsored by D&D Cabinets and Savage Design.
The Hagen Oaks Cutting Edge Putter Fitting Studio offers you more technology, more choices, and more service. Hagen Oaks wants to be your go-to total golf game fitter. With $30,000 worth of state-of-the-art technology ready for your fitting, Hagen Oaks will help you make your best putting stroke while finding the best putter design, shape, hosel, length, and loft for your game. Schedule your fitting at the Hagen Oaks Player Performance Studio by calling 916-808-2531. That's 808-2531 for more.
The hot weather is coming. Is your HVAC system ready for it? Let Lee's Air Plumbing and Heating make sure it is. Get to leesairplumbingandheating.com. Check out their $99 HVAC tune-up special. And let me tell you why Lee's Air Plumbing and Heating is the way to go. They took care of me when our heater collapsed over the winter, and Lee set us up with a great new HVAC system that is providing comfort, value, and quality. Let Lee's Air Plumbing and Heating take care of you. License number 635355.
Live and local, 6 a.m. to 6 p.m., Monday through Friday. Sacktown Sports.
Here's a report today from Jake Fisher. Sacramento has searched for trade avenues to acquire a first-round pick, sources say, and has expressed confidence to various agents that it could be selecting as high as the early 20s. Do the Kings have their eye on somebody? We know that they at least spoke with Jeremiah Fears. I don't know if he's going to be there at 20. Tankathon has him going 7th. So, but that's very encouraging. Again, we're trying to put the pieces of the puzzle together. You're not sure what's real, what's not real. And even what is real now could change. But from Nathan Grubel, he says 15 to 25 in this draft, you got a chance to get some real value-laden role players.
Yes, that's
nice.
And that's one of the things we've been talking about, right? If you're Scott Perry, take a look at that. Some value out there, late teens or early 20s. And, if I'm Sacramento fans, sure, we may have lost the number, 13 pick. But if you can get a late first rounder, because we're desperate right now. Righty, we need, like you said, to get younger. We need young potential on this roster. And so if Scott sees somebody up, in 21, 22, go for it.
Yeah, I appreciate the point you made that Scott Perry would we can assume, to put his mark on things a little bit. How better to do that than by getting a draft pick and drafting somebody?
Right, exactly. And, because honestly, that may be easier to do than swing a big trade and everything like that, And when you look at Scott Perry's history, some of the players he's drafted, I'm watching my boy Obi Toppin put in work during these finals. He's had a pretty good draft record, I think.
I think Nathan made a great point about the current state of the NBA and the CBA, and you've got two teams in the finals now that are low on the payroll scale, so teams are looking at this draft as opportunities to get good players that don't cost you much.
Right. Cost control.
That's always been important, but before it's if we need to, we go over the cap, or didn't used to have an apron, but those rules are more punitive than ever now.
Right, and that's why OKC has been able to do what they've done. Indiana as well. These top heavy teams with these 3 big contract guys, those don't last long. It's almost too you got to thread the needle with that. Your window, your shelf life to actually get a title is very small. We look what happened to Phoenix. How long did Booker, Durant, and Beal last? A year? 2, if that, a year and a half? So it's prudent to get some of those smaller contracts.
Chief Keese says Ben Saraf is the guy to get in the late first round. The dude could be the next Luka. I know that name. I don't know who he is exactly. I know that name.
Hold up here. Yeah. Hold up. Let me look at my mock draft here.
Yeah, he's going to go high. He's 29th of the Suns in this mock. Ben Saraf from Radio Farm Ulm. Point guard, shooting guard, 6'5". I'm in. Get him.
I mean, if you can get the next Luka at 29 or 28, why not do it?
Mm-hmm. And
the next Luka. Come on.
Nathan Grubel, just maybe he meant Luka Garza.
Right. My mock draft that I go to has him at 39.
39?
Yeah.
What mock are you looking at?
I'm on NBADraft.net. That's my go-to, man. That's the one I'd use.
Nathan Grubel mentioned Cam Jones, right? He's 30th on this. So chance for the Kings and Walter Clayton Jr. 25th on this.
That could be.
Ramsey, Ramsey's a big Walter Clayton Jr. guy.
That's it. Yeah, that's his guy. And that's a veteran, a little older guy, has shown leadership qualities well. That's exactly what we need, right? That's exactly what Sacramento.
So perhaps he's in play if the Kings can move up. But we'll see.
I'm on your boy Kevin O'Connor's.
Not my guy. You literally gave him a start.
I literally
all
did.
All the suffering that Kings fans have gone through because of him would not have happened if not
I know,
for you.
I know. You know what it was too? I'll tell the story. I think it was 2016. Yeah, 2016. That's the Jaylen Brown draft, I believe. And Kevin O'Connor is this young kid, walking around with like a binder in his hands.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, hey, guys, I did a mock draft, and I did everybody and a big board and all that. And Scal, I'll out him. He wasn't watching college basketball. He didn't know, He's like, all right, give me that. So we used that, and I took a copy. And draft night, we used that, and we did like a 3-hour draft show. And so every time a pick was made, you'd hear Scal shuffling through the papers. Oh, this guy.
Yeah.
And so then his draft guy was born, and people started using it from that moment on.
Jay, how about that? Drapes gave the guy a start, and yet, if it weren't for Drapes, no one knows who he is, and yet he will not come on the show. What kind of human being is
That
he?
is true. That is true. I'm going to see him at Summer League. I'm going to Summer League. I'm going to be like, dude, how come you ain't coming on the show?
What has he told you?
I don't know. I haven't. No, remember he told me the one time.
Oh, the Ringer won't.
The Ringer wouldn't let him at that time. Remember?
And then we got somebody on the Ringer the next week.
Right.
Came on like later that show.
Right. No, you're right about that. You're right.
Well, he ain't writing for the Ringer no more.
Right.
No, we know Yahoo can come on.
Yep.
We got plenty of Yahoo people on.
Yeah, we'll get him on. But I think he understands he's not coming on just for a friendly conversation. We're going to go at him.
Maybe.
And maybe he's ducking that smoke. Yeah, the whole Sacramento.
He's in the line of fire for sure.
Right.
Mm-hmm. We didn't mention this yesterday. When I first saw this, I thought, this doesn't even make sense. But let's just address quickly the Peja comments. Peja was on the Out of Bounds podcast. He said he was talking about the De'Aaron Fox trade. It seems there was a directive from his agent, Rich Paul, who played a key role and blackmailed the teams on which player was supposed to get traded where. He brought Fox to the Spurs. Levine, who was his player, brought him to Sacramento. By doing this, he limited Sacramento from a business standpoint, stating that they get a bit more from this trade with Fox if they had the same discussion with some other teams in the NBA, end quote. Does Peja work for the Kings currently? He does not, does he?
I don't think so. He's at the games and sitting courtside, and he's still tied. Like he's still in relations, but he's not on the payroll. I don't think.
Yeah, we'll get into that, what it means, and why fans are reacting so much to it when we come right back. Drive Guys on Sacktown Sports.
I'm Ken Korak with your Green and Gold Report, brought to you by Comcast Business, powering possibilities. Well, the latest class of the A's Hall of Fame will be inducted before the A's play the Reds on September 13th. And what a group, including longtime A's broadcaster Monty Moore and the big three, Hudson, Mulder, and Zito. And when those guys pitch together in the A's rotation over a 5-year span, their combined records 234 and 119. Comcast Business helps turn today's small businesses into engines of modern business. It's how restaurants become reliably up and running neighborhood favorites. It's how retailers become seamlessly restocking, cyber-securing must-visit shops. And it's how healthcare offices become data-managing caregivers that we all depend on. With reliable connectivity, enhanced cybersecurity, advanced fiber solutions, and Wi-Fi backup, Comcast Business is powering the engine of modern business.
Get ready for a night out with Jordan Davis. It's Country in the Park 2, Saturday, September 13th at Cal Expo. Along with the special guests, Mitchell Tenpenny, Low Cash, Vincent Mason, and Abriana. Make it a family day out with food trucks, games, dancing, and more. Saturday, September 13th at Cal Expo with Michelob Ultra. Tickets are available now at CITPFest.com. We get it. Tariffs are tough. Power tools are getting expensive. But at Fasteners Inc. Tool Outlet, we're solving that problem for 2 short days on June 20th and June 21st. We're putting all Milwaukee power tools on massive discounts. Tons of Milwaukee batteries and bare tools for less than $100. 25% off all regular price Milwaukee pack-out boxes and much, much more. So stop by Fasteners Inc. Tool Outlet in Sacramento on June 20th and 21st for some of the lowest prices on tools you'll ever see this year. To see all of what's on sale, visit FastenersInc.net. Fasteners Inc. Better tools, better prices.
Big news. Newsmax just went public on the New York Stock Exchange, and millions like you are joining our news revolution. Newsmax is now the 4th highest rated news channel, just behind CNN. Reuters says we're one of the top news brands in America. 40 million Americans go to Newsmax for shows with Rob Schmidt, Greta Van Susteren, Rob Finnerty, and more. So download our free Newsmax app on your smartphone or TV and start watching. President Trump says Newsmax is truly terrific. Get the free Newsmax app and check out Newsmax shares on the stock exchange. Go to newsmaxinvest.com. That's newsmaxinvest.com. This is not an offer to buy or sell securities, nor shall there be any sale of securities in any jurisdiction in which such an offer would be unlawful.
How can you free your team from time-consuming office tasks? Amazon Business. Smart business buying tools enable buyers to find and purchase items fast so they can focus on strategy and growth. Free up your teams and focus on your future. Learn more at amazonbusiness.com.
Check engine or ABS light on? Take the guesswork out of your warning lights with O'Reilly Veriscan. It's free. Ask for O'Reilly Veriscan.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
This is the story of the one. As a safety manager at a manufacturing plant, he does everything he can to keep his coworkers safe. From finding ways to reduce risks to keeping safety supplies in stock. And for that, he relies on Grainger. Grainger offers a broad range of quality products and next-day delivery, so he can always play it safe. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Whitey here for Napoleon Grills, reminding you that when buying a new grill, every detail matters. While supplies last, you'll receive a $149 gift with purchase on every new Napoleon Prestige stainless steel grill. The kit even includes a pizza lover starter kit and much more. And now up to $79 off Napoleon Rogue models. Napoleon grills are built different, built better, built to last, with a lifetime warranty and premium steel that boasts amazing quality. Visit Green Acres Nursery today for your best selection of Napoleon grills and accessories.
Come on.
The only station in Sacramento giving you local sports coverage from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. Monday through Friday. Sacktown Sports.
What's Peja talking about? Why are people getting so agitated about it? We're back to that in just a moment here. So drive, guys. On the text line, 339-1140, 1-800-920-1140 from the 209. Talking about draft prospects. Walter Clayton is that seasoned leader type of dude we could use. I know that the Kings, they're looking for leadership and accountability, and he's appears to have a high amount of leadership ability for a young player. Having
I mean,
led his team.
Yeah, this guy, the quarterback.
Yeah,
of the champs. Yeah,
Mm-hmm,
so that's what we want. You know, a seasoned veteran, cerebral. You know who Walter Clayton? He looked like he would fit in a Pacer system. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Which is a good thing. Like those the kind of guys we need right now.
Yeah. Ultimate compliment.
Yep.
OKC is used to blowing teams out when the game is close. They get nervous. Throughout the playoffs, the Pacers never let up until the buzzer. It seems they always believe they can win. And from Elk Grove, Ernie, aloha, drive guys. I'm in paradise, Hawaii, overlooking the ocean, but going through withdrawals, not able to listen to your sports analysis about the NBA Finals. Appreciate if you could send me a Vine. Mahalo. What does that even mean? Send him a Vine.
Like a line, a link, a connect, type thing.
Can't you just go on YouTube?
You never heard nobody say, like, send me a Vine, man.
Yeah, I have, but in this context, I mean, the Vine is there. You just gotta.
It's easy. It's been there.
I think he was just bragging the fact that he was in Hawaii.
I know, right?
I think you're right. Yeah,
I see how it is.
Elk Grove, Ernie. Maybe I'll see you next week, depending on what island you're on. How about this Peja thing? Out of Bounds podcast. What did you think, Drapes? I'll just say what I thought. I know we saw it yesterday. My first thought was there's really nothing here, but people have been talking about it. I just think I understand why Kings fans are upset by the whole thing. Rich Paul basically did what an agent is supposed to do.
Right. This is being blown out of proportion, in my opinion. This is a non-story. This is kind of what we already knew.
Yes.
And,
that's why we initially just said,
whatever.
Yeah.
But I guess the word blackmailed made it sound stronger than what it was and everything. And so, no, it's much ado about nothing. It's that happens all the time in the NBA. Players have preferred destinations, and Rich Paul, working on behalf of De'Aaron Fox, is trying to steer his client to that destination.
Mm-hmm.
It's the nature of this business. It sucks, but that's just how it is.
It's the same type of thing is going on right now with Kevin Durant.
Yeah.
His
Yep.
Kleeman.
Jimmy Butler.
Yeah.
We saw it happen,
Yeah. I think especially for fans who've been fans longer, like we have, it's a little distasteful because there was a time when it didn't happen that way, but that's the way it happens now. And I do think, there are some Kings fans that are still bitter about the way that all happened, and they cling to any chance they can get to be, angry about De'Aaron Fox and that Rich Paul. It's terrible. Blackmail. The Kings were not blackmailed.
Well, yeah, and
that is not what blackmail
that's
is.
not, and that's what Scotty Pop says. It's only a story because Peja incorrectly used the word blackmail.
Mm-hmm.
I will say this though: if Rich Paul steered his client to San Antonio, where De'Aaron Fox wanted to go, how much vitriol should be directed at De'Aaron Fox for putting the Kings in that position? Because he's the one.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it was Rich Paul's idea. Only place you're going, De'Aaron, is San Antonio. It was probably a conversation. De'Aaron saying, my top choice, where I want to go is San Antonio. Rich Paul's like, all right, let's make it happen. I will say this, though. If you're the Kings and if you're Monty McNair at the time, you don't have to do that deal. And even if you do send them to San Antonio, you can still try to get more out the deal.
Yes.
You don't have to take what the deals the Spurs are offering. Like, you could try to get more, even if you send them to San Antonio.
You can still have him on the roster now.
You can still have it. You don't have to capitulate and
Right.
send him to where he wants to go. And we've seen teams say, we are not trading this guy. Pat Riley tried to do that with Jimmy Butler.
Mm-hmm.
And then, they started finding him and everything, and that got out of control. But the team is not obligated to send you to where you want to go.
Mm-hmm. I still think there's potential upside for the Kings. I know people are unhappy with what they got. Yeah. Who was it that we just talked to that said, the Kings actually, I thought they got a good package back. Somebody we just talked to last week or was it yesterday? Anyway, I know that's not the commonly held opinion.
It might have been yesterday.
Was it Kevin Pelton? Maybe
Yeah, I
said
think it's
that?
Kevin Pelton. Maybe.
Yeah. But a lot of people will disagree with this. Fine. The Kings got out from under that decision on Fox and the max, or he didn't qualify for the super max. I don't know. That might have hamstrung them, and I don't know that he's that good. And I think maybe he recognizes, he wanted to go to San Antonio and play with some more good players that he was never going to be as good as the Kings, the way they were built, needed him to be. They needed him to be one of the best players in the league. I mean, like one of the top 6 players in the league. And I don't think he's ever going to be that. And now at least they're out from under that.
Oh, you trying to look at the
Do you know what I mean? Am I explaining that?
Yeah, I hear what you're saying. Like De'Aaron Fox was our guy.
Yeah.
He was going to be our guy.
We needed him to be like a top 10
And for us to get to where the promised land, we needed him.
Yeah.
Because how many times on this show have we asked?
Right.
Is he a superstar? Is he a number one on a championship team? And Jay all along said no. And so now we don't have to have that discussion or even that thought anymore.
Right. And if he's not, and you got to pay him to be, and everything's built on that, then it's not going to work out.
Yeah.
So I'm saying that perhaps in a way, the Kings are in a better situation now, but you still have to get the guy. You still don't have him. Maybe he wasn't it, but whoever it is, you don't have him.
Yeah, what do you think about this from the 209? However, Whitey, if we had Fox going into this next season, after the dust settled, after the draft, we would have got way more. Do you think if we would have held on to him, we would have got – I don't know about that.
Yeah, I don't know. I know our friend Jerry, who's done it for a living, says, yeah, they didn't have to trade him, but I'm with you. I've been saying all along, look, if he's going to go, you got to get him out of there and get it done and whoosh, and move on. But I don't think that's necessarily true.
Yeah, I don't think so either, because now you're talking about his contract. Now you're acquiring De'Aaron Fox for 1 year, so
right?
1.5 years,
right?
And sort of like, I always go back to the Carmelo Anthony trade from Denver to the Knicks. If the Knicks were smart, and if the Spurs in this case was smart, just wait it out. Just wait a year.
Mm-hmm.
Just, like Denver didn't have to. I mean, the Knicks didn't have to give up all that. Carmelo was going to be a free agent. He wanted to sign with you anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Same thing with De'Aaron Fox. So I think as you got closer to the end of his contract, teams would just say,
right,
you know what, we'll just wait.
Yeah,
we'll wait.
We're not going to give you a lot for 1 year, this guy, when he's let us know he plans to go somewhere else.
Right, exactly. So, yeah, I'm with you. It's somebody from the 916. So an agent did his job, and it was additional pressure on a lame duck GM. So no one's fault there. Is just fallout. Blaming someone now is just clickbait.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. I think one of the reasons the Kings got back what they got back is because somebody with the Kings wanted Zach LaVine all along. We look at that. They could have got more.
You mean somebody on the Kings?
Somebody with the Kings said, presumably the owner. Okay. Based on his history and his fondness that we know of in the past for Zach LaVine. So rightly or wrongly, I think one of the reasons they got what they got back is somebody said, we got draft picks. That's good. Zach LaVine, yes, we want him. And I think a lot of fans look at it as, you got to take Zach LaVine?
But here's the thing.
Like, yes, that's what we want.
I have no problem, me personally, with the team getting Zach LaVine. The problem I have is the Spurs did not give up enough. Sohan got to be in the deal. Keldon, give me one of those guys. It don't even have to be Stephon Castle. But give me somebody. Who did we get from the Spurs player-wise?
What was Sissoko?
Sissoko, right?
Sissoko,
he didn't even make it into the team. He didn't even make it on the bench. It's like the Spurs gave up Zach Collins and CD Sissoko. Come on, man. We should have at least got somebody else out of that. Mm-hmm. Give me a Sohan or something like that. Like, that's the part I have the problem with. Zach LaVine, I'm a big Zach LaVine fan. We've already established that. But damn, get somebody else too that could help you.
That was one of the saddest things to me about that whole thing is when we first started talking about it, when it became real, a lot of fans were looking at, who can we get back? And a lot of fans assumed Stephon Castle.
Right.
Remember? And we were telling people, you're not going to get Stephon Castle.
Right.
That would be great, but it's not going to happen.
Yeah. It's our boy Tony Ray Harvey chiming in on the YouTube chat. I'd say Peja hijacked or held the Kings hostage.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Sounds like the Kings were doing something. Yeah. And so, I agree on that. Peja kind of misspoke on those words.
Mm-hmm. We'll look at a new report. Might provide some more clarity on the Kings point guard search. At least we hope so. That's next on Sacktown Sports.
This is the story of the one. As a safety manager at a manufacturing plant, he does everything he can to keep his coworkers safe. From finding ways to reduce risks to keeping safety supplies in stock. And for that, he relies on Grainger. Grainger offers a broad range of quality products and next-day delivery, so he can always play it safe. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Staples presents That Was Easy.
So we had a huge new business pitch.
Attention, all hands on deck.
When, boom, our only printer was fried.
Up in smoke. What your chances of landing that account?
Well, I just sent the file to Staples. Devin, the print associate, was on it. She had it printed and bound same day.
So where's the drama?
There wasn't any. Staples made it super easy.
Inconceivable. For the product, services, and experts you need, Staples.
That was easy.
In-store, online, and on the app.
Pro Paint Days are back at Lowe's, and My Lowe's Pro Rewards members can save even more with limited time deals. Right now, buy one, get one half off. Select HGTV Home by Sherwin-Williams Primer and Ceiling Paint. Plus, get free same-day delivery to your job site when you order by 2 p.m. Offer valid through 6/13. Delivery by 8 p.m. Subject to driver availability. Additional terms apply. See Lowe's.com/same-day delivery for details.
Hey, it's Carmichael Dave here for American Energy, and oh my goodness, I'm born and raised here. I know it gets hot, but my goodness, we're already seeing 100-degree days. Listen to me. You do not want your system to conk out in the middle of June or July or August with one of those big 100-degree stretches. You want to make sure you're good all summer long. And my friends at American Energy Heating and Air can do that with a $24.50 tune-up right now. That's half price. And if you need a new system, $3,500 off, up to $3,500 off in rebates for qualified systems. They've been around since 1981, serving the greater Sacramento area. A+ with the Better Business Bureau. Call them right now, 916-520-9990. That's 916-520-9990. Jingle Singers, take it away.
Call 916-520-9990 now.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
Do you find yourself stuck in a timeshare? Get the real facts about the timeshare industry and your options for cancellation. Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group, has put together a free information guide that reveals the secrets the timeshare industry doesn't want you to know, including the 5 ways to get rid of your timeshare. Call now and get this timeshare cancellation guide absolutely free.
Call 800-646-5959. That's 800-646-5959. 800-646-5959.
If you need to hire, you know it takes time. Well, what if you could meet with qualified candidates the very next day? Now you can with Zip Intro from ZipRecruiter. You simply pick a time and it does all the work of finding and scheduling qualified candidates for you. Then you choose who you want to talk to and meet with great people on back-to-back video calls as soon as the next day.
Try Zip Intro for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. Zip Intro. Post jobs today. Talk to qualified candidates tomorrow.
Hot summer savings explode at Maida's Elk Grove Chevy. Save $12,000 off MSRP after rebates. Every new 2025 Silverado half-ton LT and RST in stock.
Maida Chevy has similar savings on every new Silverado. One of the largest selections in the Sacramento area.
$12,000 off new Silverado exclusively at the Maida Chevy Silverado Supercenter. Now that's big, huge. See them all at MaidaChevy.com. Together, let's drive.
Less trading 2011 renewed. Not available with special financing, lease, and some other offers.
Get ready for a night out with Jordan Davis. It's Country in the Park 2, Saturday, September 13th at Cal Expo. Along with special guests Mitchell Tenpenny, Low Cash, Vincent Mason, and Abriana. Make it a family day out with food trucks, games, dancing, and more. Saturday, September 13th at Cal Expo with Michelob Ultra. Tickets are available now at CITPFest.com.
It's taste on a whole new level at Sky River Casino. With 18 elevated restaurants, bars, and lounge destinations that include SR Prime Steakhouse, 32 Brews, Dragon Boat, and The Market. Just minutes from Sacramento, right off Highway 99 in Elk Grove. Join in the fun and experience the height of hospitality. Sky's the limit at Sky River Casino. Visit skyriver.com today. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
KHTK HD1 Sacramento, KYMX HD3 Sacramento. From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios.
Sacktown Sports, 1140. Live and local, it's the Drive Guys. Watch the show on youtube.com/Sacktown Sports 1140.
Or listen on the Sacktown Sports app.
Before we get back to the Kings point guard search, a couple of updates on things going on today. Spawn is leading the U.S. Open. The great John Feinstein, late great John Feinstein, used to say, if you're a golf person, you're either a U.S. Open person or a Masters person. How about you, Drapes? If you could play and win one, would you rather win the U.S. Open or the Masters? To me, it's the Open because it's our country's Open National Championship. It's open. In theory, anybody could win it.
I mean, you got a bunch of amateurs, so the field isn't as strong. How about that?
But it's the strongest. It's everybody.
But
it's tough to qualify.
No,
not even Tony Romo can qualify.
It's everybody who's hot at the right time. Some schmuck that got hot on his Muni course, over 36.
That's never actually happened.
I'm joking. Nah, for me, it's probably the Masters. I will say in terms of, because I hold the Masters in higher regard, but in terms of my play, if I could conquer the U.S. Open and how difficult they make that course and go out and win that's an accomplishment.
Mm-hmm. So, yeah. The U.S. Open doesn't look like a lot of fun.
It doesn't, man. It doesn't. I played at, what's the one they had? Was it the U.S. Open down there at Harding Park?
I think that was the PGA.
Well, I played like not too long after the PGA was there.
Yeah.
The rough was just like unbearable. Like I had the weed whacker out trying to chop through that. I could only imagine the conditions at the U.S. Open right now.
Mm-hmm. Also today, the Giants' winning streak ended. The Rockies scored 3 in the 9th and beat the Giants, walked off the Giants 8-7. Jay, the winning streak is over for the Giants after 2 stunning comeback wins. They lost the finale of that series with the Rockies. So the winning
streak got a movement over there for sure.
I tell you, man,
Come on, Colorado.
You guys celebrated like it was Game 7 of the World Series. Giants losing that game. You guys are high-fiving and everything. For sure.
Who celebrated as the Rockies. Any win for them.
Any win.
Like,
is like, how many they got now? 12? Something like that? They were stuck on
13 because they got the sweep. Remember last week?
They had the sweep at Marlins.
A very competitive 13-55.
Okay, all right, trending in the right direction.
Yes,
look at their last 5, Whitey.
Yeah,
playing
what? Yeah, and the last 2, those hurt. So anyway, Giants. It had to end eventually, and as Jay said yesterday, now the Giants get to take on the Dodgers.
Now we'll see what they're made of.
Smell sweet.
Hold up, Jay. Let me ask you this.
Push broom.
Your hatred of the Giants is stronger than the Dodgers?
No. They're rung up.
Oh, all right.
The Dodgers are at the absolute
I was about to say.
They're right next to like Chiefs, Cowboys, Lakers.
Yeah.
But when they play, you can't really root for either team.
Right. It's one of those things.
Yeah. I'm just
you want them both to lose.
Yeah, please. It's tie every game. Is there ties anymore? We do a tie?
Nope. What's this from Kyle Draper? We have an update on a player?
No, Jay said we shouldn't do this.
Breaking news.
Jay said no. All right, I'll do it.
Yeah.
According to your boy, Evan
Not
Sittery.
my boy. Not.
I got to know, who's your guy, man? So-and-so, New Era Cap 47 is your guy, but
No,
not
he
Evan
says
Sittery?
I'm his guy.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
Evan Sittery. The Portland Trailblazers will attempt to trade Jeremy Grant, but rival teams may require compensation attached to his large contract. He's set to make $102.6 million over the next 3 seasons. Any interest in Jeremy Grant and a potential first-round pick?
Depends what you'll give me to help you out.
Hmm.
If I can anyway get anything like a first rounder, let's talk. Let's work something out. Otherwise,
I'm with you on that.
Yeah, because there was a time, as you know, Drapes, I was all in on Jeremy Grant.
Why are you out on him now?
Just because he's so
older
and expensive, and you know, the one of the things is he seems perfectly happy to be in Portland as they've struggled, and I know they've started to turn the corner, maybe put things together. And I just talked to his uncle, Horace Grant,
Horace.
weeks ago,
Yeah,
but
guys,
I'm just not sure how he just seems really contented to be there.
He's
in that
31,
situation.
White.
Yeah.
That's not that old.
Yeah. He's not. He doesn't do the things that I used to like him for doing.
Okay.
He can still shoot. He used to be able to defend all positions, on some of those good teams like OKC.
Yeah.
He was kind of a glue guy, jack of all trades.
But he's had a nice career.
He has. And,
2
and
seasons ago, 21 points per game. To your point, shot 40% from 3.
Yeah, he can shoot.
But this last year in Portland, 47 games, I feel like he was not part of their core, really.
Right,
right.
Yeah. You watch him, and I know we used to talk about the Kings needing wing help, but then you'd watch him play, and it's like, he's playing guard, basically. He's like playing off guard for them.
Okay.
Why, you in? Now you're dredging up this rumor again, trying to get it all started again?
So hold on. He's still got 3 years left, though. That's a lot of money. That's a lot of money. Yeah, I'm probably out on him. I was just trying to start some mess with you guys. Yeah, I'm out on Jeremy Grant.
Jay waved it off, huh? Here we have this from, is this also Jake Fisher, if I'm not mistaken? We got so many of these reports flying around here. New general manager Scott Perry, remember, immediately highlighted the Kings' need for improved playmaking during his introductory press conference. We know that. Sources have duly linked Sacramento to various guards known to be available this summer. That list includes, says Jake Fisher, Holiday in Boston, Marcus Smart in Washington, and stretches to more affordable free agent ball handlers like Malcolm Brogdon. What do we got? To me, that underscores the opinion that the Kings are probably going to go after a bridge guy as a point guard rather than a big swing on, and I think it's already being knocked down here, Trae Young, Darius Garland.
Yeah.
That's probably, they're not, I don't think they're going to do that.
No, I'm with you. I firmly believe Scott Perry is going to look for a bridge point guard. And it kind of makes sense, because we talked about Trae Young, Ja, those come with risk. And if you're Scott Perry, do you want your first move to be something that kind of empties your treasure chest, your wardrobe of assets?
No.
And so that, you go out there and get a Trae Young, you're giving up 2 or 3 firsts probably. Like, you don't want to do that if you're Sacramento.
Yeah, Spencer Lampkin's asking, Kings looking to add Drew Holiday or Marcus Smart? I think they're looking at everything.
Yeah. Out of those 3,
you know that.
Yeah, out of those 3, is there one that piques your interest? Or is it just like,
Yeah. I see that and I go, you know what? At this point, if he's affordable, give me Malcolm Brogdon.
Really?
Yeah. I think he's just kind of stabilizing me in some areas while I focus on others. Now, when I say that, I'm assuming that they are going to be able to trade up, or they're trying really hard to trade up, and you're going to get younger in other areas.
Okay. So
that's to me is what it is. I know Malcolm Brogdon. The thing with Malcolm Brogdon is go get Oladipo too, and then you got Brogdon and Oladipo and Sabonis,
Indiana,
get knocked out of the first round 4 years in a row.
But here's Brogdon is a free agent.
Yes.
So you wouldn't have to give up anything. You get short money, low money.
Yes.
You know what I mean? How about my boy Marcus Smart? Is he a free agent also? I need to check out his numbers. I got his numbers right here. Marcus Smart has 1 year left on his deal at 21.5.
It's so hard to tell with defense because the stats don't necessarily really tell you what's going on, but I know it looks like he's really not the defender that he was, which is understandable. He was a great defender, but if he's not a great defender, then, his value to me, it really is lessened.
I wonder about all these guys now.
Yeah. Oh, of course.
Brogdon. I haven't seen Brogdon, it feels like, in 2-3 years.
Kyle Draper would say he was a 6th man of the year, 2 years ago?
Who, Brogdon?
Yeah. With Boston?
Nah, that was 3 years I've been here 5 years, Whitey. I just finished my 5th season. So he was probably 4 or 5 seasons ago.
Okay.
But you said I would say that?
You would say that.
Back in 2006, he was, honestly, if this was 2 years ago, I'd take all 3 of these guys.
Really?
I'd be excited. Drew Holiday.
You mean you take any one of them?
Any one of them, yeah. Any one of these guys, but Drew Holiday's making $30 million, and it's not just one more year of $30 million. If I'm correct, he's still
2022, 23. Oh, he's sixth man of the year
3 years ago.
Yeah.
It just seems like he's been off the grid forever, right?
Yes,
like
does.
Oh no, you know what though? I do remember that. Sorry about that. He won that, but then wore out his welcome in Boston.
Yeah, then he went to Portland. He's only played 63 games since then.
Yeah. I need to find out what went wrong because I think he was benched or something like that. They weren't playing him. He felt he should have been starting, and he kind of wore out his welcome out there in Boston.
And he had a bad shoulder too, right?
Yeah. I'm gonna get to the bottom of Malcolm Brogdon here and find out what the heck happened out there in Boston.
Yeah. Rob from Carmichael. Jeremy Grant would be an upgraded version of Harrison Barnes. What if Brogdon and Smart in a package for DeRozan was the deal? Well, they're on different teams, so that'd be a tough that would be a tough one to pull off, but yeah, I don't think so. Thanks for the question.
Who did he say?
Band. He said Brogdon and Smart in a package for DeRozan. I mean, I guess you could shimmy that somehow.
Yeah. Signing trades and all this.
Yeah.
And everything like that.
I would not be interested in that.
Yeah. Rob from Carmichael.
Yeah.
AKA the Soul Shine Band. Mm-hmm. No, I'm not interested. Honestly, so Drew Holiday is making $30 million. I still think there's something there with Drew because when you talk to the people in Boston about him, the numbers don't jump out at you. We understand that. But his leadership is something we could use.
Could a guy like him come in for a couple years and jumpstart your culture change? And then could you reasonably expect it to continue even when he's gone? You know what I'm asking? Does a guy who's going to help you with your culture have to be a guy who's going to be here for a long time?
Well, I think at least 2 years.
Like Chris Paul, how could he really help your culture when he's not going to?
Right. I don't know if a year,
yeah,
does that, what he does, seep into Devin Carter and Keegan and things like that. Here you go, Whitey. Here you go. Got a text from somebody in Boston. Won't say who. Said, what was the issue with Malcolm Brogdon in Boston? Quote, not a great teammate. Did not want to play hurt. Kind of a locker room politician.
Wow.
Wore out his
Mr.
welcome.
Solid citizen.
Apparently he thought so too.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Malcolm Brogdon, you're off the list.
You're off the list. You're off the list. So watch it come. But you know what's going to be interesting? Sabonis is going to go to Scott Perry. Oh, he's amazing. That's my guy. And we'll wind up with Malcolm Brogdon. But that's what somebody in Boston told me about him. Somebody, close to the team.
Mm-hmm. So I think, here's what I think, Drapes. I think the Kings are operating right now on two fronts. Scott Perry. Again, this is guesswork based on trying to make sense of what we know. The point guard thing, which he has said publicly we're going to do. So a lot of people are assuming they're all in on the point guard. I think in the point guard deal, they're focusing more on a bridge guy, which is like a Tyus Jones, like a guy short-term, not as expensive, tide you over, but not a guy that you expect to be your point guard for a long time. At the same time, the hotter item is trying to move up in the draft. That's what I think they're doing. Based on all this, that's what it seems like to me. Point guard, yeah, we'll get a point guard in. We're looking at these point guards, but that's what people are focusing on. But really what matters more is whether or not they're going to be able to get back into the first round. That's where I think they're doing.
You think that's the priority? That's the first thing? Okay. Let me ask you this then. Let's say they get back into the first round.
Yeah.
22, pick 22. They draft a point guard. Are we handing the keys to this point guard day one? Are we expecting this person to be our starting point guard?
Depends who it is. If it's Walter Clayton Jr., yes. If it's Jeremiah Fears, no. The Fears probably wouldn't be there, but he might be.
Why you say no on Fears?
Because he's so young. Like not right away.
Okay.
Eventually, but not right away.
Yeah,
What is he? Isn't he only like 19?
Is he really? Is
he?
he?
He's probably going to go higher than that.
I asked that
he's
question.
18.7 years old.
Oof. Yeah, that's young.
So if he's the guy, you gotta like. I remember when they got De'Aaron here and they didn't play him right away. They're playing George Hill.
Yeah, George Hill.
And I remember I was saying, "What are they doing?" But
yeah, now you understand.
Too young.
You understand.
Yeah.
But I asked that question because if you do draft, just for the sake of this discussion, fears, do you still also need another point guard too?
Yeah. So they still will get the
bridge person.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. But if it's Clayton, then you don't need the point guard?
You probably still need one, but he's not going to play as much.
Right.
I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. That's the way it looks to me.
Or do you draft a big or another position and then still get your bridge point guard?
It depends how much you like. If they love Walter Clayton Jr., it's like, yeah, he's our guy. If they're like, but we love, who's the guy? Markovich. Bogolio Markovich.
All right. If you say
6'11",
so.
then he's your guy.
Yeah, if he could be your guy.
Yeah.
If he's the guy, then you still got to find that bridge point guard.
He's your guy. You're going to need a lot of bridges to a lot of places.
Markovich.
Yeah. From the 916, you can't build a culture bringing in old guys if all your young guys aren't that good.
Oh, somebody said that. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Yeah. I think that's one of the things we tend to do as fans. I'll speak for myself. You think you bring in a guy, Harrison Barnes, Chris Paul, whatever. And although Chris Paul, he could be more prickly, I think, than fans realize.
Oh, yeah.
You think, oh, yeah, well, he's a professional. It's going to rub off, and all the young guys are going to become just like him. It's going to be great for your culture. And it's just not that simple, James.
Not that simple. And the thing we hear about Chris Paul is he is difficult to play with. He is kind of an acquired taste in the locker room. It takes the right kind of guys to be and is DeMar and Zach? I don't know. Are they putting up with that? I don't know. I'm just, with Keegan, I think a guy like Keegan could benefit though from having a guy like Chris Paul, because Chris Paul won't let Keegan just, blend in and be another.
Mm-hmm.
Like he's going to get him involved.
From the 209, Jay, is this a violation? Draft a point guard because y'all naming some old ass point guards. Then this person says, rack me. I don't.
What is that?
Can't.
That's a violation.
It is, isn't it?
You got to do all the racking, but I like what you see.
But the rack, what's that, 20 years ago or something like
Jim
that?
Rome.
That was Jim Rome. Does Rome still say that?
Yeah, knowing him, yes.
Oh, my rack me. And you can't ask to get racked yourself.
That's what
right?
I'm saying.
That's what you're saying, right?
Yeah. Why can't Chris Paul be the bridge point guard? He could be. Who's really high on that is Brendan Nunes. Brendan's really high on that idea.
What, Chris Paul?
Yeah. But I think the bridge is going to be somebody who's more affordable, more of a temporary fix.
You don't think Paul's affordable? Paul ain't playing for that much money.
Well, I just think someone like Tyus.
Oh, like 2-3 million, something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, you might be right about that.
Mm-hmm.
Your boy Campio, I'm just glad to hear Whitey and Draper mention Jeremiah Fears after calling me foolish last week when I mentioned Fears.
Well, there's lots of reasons we call Cam foolish. Right? That's not the only one.
And Fears is one of them for sure. Like, if we get Fears, we'd have moved up much farther than 20 to 22.
If we get Fears, no more tears.
No more tears. Whitey, you pretty quick with that, man. That's pretty good.
That's awful. That's what happens when you talk point guard for like 7 hours every day.
Every day. Still, nobody's coming around to my boy, Dennis Schroeder. But it might be a little too costly, too, to your point. They might be looking at the cheap version. Ask somebody about Drew Holiday.
Yeah, somebody from Boston, one of your Boston sources?
Boston guy.
From Boston.
They love Drew, just can't afford him anymore. We knew that.
Yeah.
I said, does he still have anything left in the tank? Because that's the key and a question mark now. Yes, but I don't think he could go all 82. You're going to have to limit his minutes, and he's not the scorer he used to be. Still a plus defender, though.
Yeah.
So we probably don't need him to be a scorer, right? We need just somebody to run the team and play good defense.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Who else is still here?
Yeah, depending on who's on the team.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I would not be opposed to Drew Holiday, Whitey. Let me say that.
I love Drew Holiday. I just think it's going to cost you a lot, not just in terms of the money, but what you'd have to give up to get him. That's my concern. If I can get him without having to, break the bank, and I'm talking about, again, my assets more than the amount of money.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've always liked it.
Yeah. So I'm looking at his contract, 2 years and then a player option. Whew. Damn, Whitey, and he's picking up that player option. Drew Holiday right now is 35 years old.
Mm-hmm.
So his contract runs till he's 38. Wow. At the player option, Whitey, that final year, it is $37 million, I believe. Yep, 37.2. I might be out on Drew there.
Too much. It's too much.
Too much. That's not a bridge.
Yeah.
That's too long of a bridge.
Now, he's won 2 NBA titles, right?
Yes, he has.
Yeah.
Boston and Milwaukee.
Who on the Pacers could win his second NBA title in 3 years? Do you know?
Yeah, 100% I know.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you want me to tell you right now?
Yeah, you can. Yeah.
In 3 years?
Would be his second title in 3 years. I didn't realize this, and I was looking up some things like, whoa.
So he was on Denver?
Uh-huh.
Can I look at the roster and tell you?
Yeah, sure.
I'm sure I'll be able to spot the guy.
I'm just doing some stuff.
All
Like,
right.
whoa.
Yeah,
I hadn't realized that. I think he played one game in the finals for Denver.
Really?
3, yeah.
All right, I got
I'm
you
sure
right
he got
here.
a ring.
Is he active? Like,
Yeah.
is he? He's not, no two-way guy.
Yeah, it's not like a trick like, that guy.
Oh, my boy Thomas Bryant.
That's right.
Yeah.
How about
my
that?
boy Thomas
He
Bryant.
could get his second ring in 3
Yes.
years.
I thought you were going to say James Wiseman. He get another ring. But no, that's a guy I'd still kick the tires on if I'm Sacramento.
TB?
Yeah, Thomas Bryant. I've always been a big fan. And the Kings fans will remember he came in the Golden One with the Lakers, I think it was, and gave us the business. And we've seen him have some flashes with the Pacers, stretching the floor, playing some defense. I'm a Thomas Bryant guy, and I'm looking at some of his shooting numbers, Whitey, because that's what it's all about, right? Got to be able to stretch the floor. That can't be right. Oh yeah, here it is. Sorry, no, I was looking at his 2-point percentage. I was like, oh, hold up now. So this past season with Indiana and Miami, 32% from 3. The season with Denver, and he didn't take many, 44%. Season before that, 44. Very small sample size.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe you stretch this guy out a little bit. Do you know his contract situation over here?
I do not.
Free agent
Thomas Bryant. And you're guaranteed to get to the finals with him because
right.
that's all he
right.
does.
That's all he does.
Let's go to the finals.
I do that as another. Who do we have at the big position right now?
We have Jonas Valanciunas and we have Domantas Sabonis. King size combo, as you call it.
Can Bryant and Domas play together spot minutes?
I don't know if Bryant can play at all.
That's
I know he's had his
terrible.
moments.
This guy, man. All right. Dude, he's in the finals for the team. He's a winner. How about that? Everywhere he goes, they win.
Yeah. That's just down my list of things I need.
I will say, everywhere he goes, he wins. Before he went to Denver, he spent 4 years in Washington. So,
yeah.
I guess not.
Yeah. You got the eye for the big men, though. I mean, you were a big Gafford guy last year.
Big Gafford guy.
Yeah.
Maybe Dallas might want to do something.
Maybe. But that's not one of my pressing concerns, is it?
Yeah, because you got JV, I guess. I think we need another impactful 4-man, though.
Mm-hmm. We're going to see if we can't get to the bottom of what is and isn't going on between the Kings and the Hawks. It looks like all that Trae Young stuff may finally just fade into the ether, but Brad Rowland's going to join us, Hawks reporter, Locked on Hawks. There's also reports that the Hawks are trying to trade up. Kings are trying to trade up. Looks like there are more teams than usual that are trying to trade up, which is tricky because they can't all trade up, Drapes. Not everybody's
right. Not everybody trying to trade up. Yeah.
Yeah. So Brad Rowland from Atlanta joins us next. Drive Guy, Sacktown Sports.
Hello, Sacramento. I'm Emran Pilati, owner of True Sports Cards and Collectible Store here in Rockland, California, and the host of the True Sports Cards Show that airs right here on Sacktown Sports 1140 every Saturday from 10 to 11 a.m. where we discuss the latest trends, hottest products, and deliver exclusive interviews with other industry leaders. And don't forget to visit our shop, True Sports Cards, at 6661 Stanford Ranch Road in Rockland and see what we have for all your sports card and memorabilia needs.
You know, around here, the summer heat can smack you silly, especially if your AC's not functioning at a high level. We had the opposite problem over the winter. The system went down. It was panic time. It was panic time. But Lee's Air Plumbing and Heating saved the day for us. Let them save you from unnecessary summer misery. Lee's Air Plumbing and Heating, reliable, trustworthy. They do great work. They've won awards for their service. Check the reviews at leesair.com. Find out about their $99 HVAC tune-up service. Yes, I've spent more than 40 years serving the Valley's HVAC heating and plumbing needs, and you can trust Lee's with installation and repair of your AC, furnace, and water heater, plus residential and commercial plumbing repair, commercial HVAC services too. Find out more, as I said, at leesair.com. Check out their mission statement, which is all about serving customers and community, and check on that $99 HVAC tune-up service. Let Lee's take care of you the way they took care of me. Reliable, friendly, do great work, treating us like family, set us up with an HVAC system that has improved our quality of life. Lee's Air Plumbing and Heating, license number 635355.
Capital Casino, conveniently located on 411th North 16th Street in downtown Sacramento.
Hi, Sacramento. It's the No Surprise Guys at Bell Brothers Plumbing and Air Conditioning. Need a new water heater? Call Bell Brothers. Need drain or sewer work? Call Bell Brothers. Need a free plumbing estimate? Call Bell Brothers. We don't guess at plumbing and drain problems. We use advanced camera inspections and diagnostics to identify the issues. We're fast, reliable, and respect your time by showing up when we say we will. Our technicians are all background checked, drug tested, and will leave the work area cleaner than they found it. The price we quote is the price you pay. We are the No Surprise Guys, with more technicians, more trucks, and more experience. We get the job done right the first time. No surprises. Don't wait. Call Bell Brothers today for a free plumbing estimate or book online at nosurpriseguys.com. That's nosurpriseguys.com.
The No Surprise Guys, Bell Brothers.
At SMUD, we power local business with incentives on clean energy equipment, tools to manage electricity usage and save money, tailored solutions from dedicated strategic account advisors, and 50% lower rates than neighboring utilities, all while doing more for the planet with clean energy solutions, savings, reliability, personalized service, clean energy, helping local businesses thrive. That's our clean power promise. Learn more at smud.org.
The Giant Summer Sale is here. Get giant savings on our giant selection only at Folsom Lake Honda, your one-stop Honda shop.
Looking to own or lease? Save during the Giant Summer Sale and drive a brand new Accord or Civic. Visit us today at FolsomLakeHonda.com, your one-stop Honda shop.
As a family-owned and operated dealership since 2009, customer service is our number one priority. Our customers love doing business with us, and you will too.
Folsom Lake Honda.
Go to FolsomLakeHonda.com.
Your one-stop Honda shop.
Play and win to take your loyalty to new heights at Sky River Casino. Join Sky River Rewards today for a chance to receive up to $2,500 in free play. Plus, you'll be in the know about upcoming special events and offers. Just minutes from Sacramento, right off Highway 99 in Elk Grove. Join in the fun with rewards that add up and up. Sky's the limit at Sky River Casino. Visit us to see how. Must be 21 or over. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
Chuck McDowell here again. Over the years, I've seen way too many timeshare exit companies pop up, take folks' money, and disappear. I just saw an ad from an exit company started by a couple of bozos that used to work for me. My advice, don't hire bozos I fire. Want out of your timeshare? I'll send you our free timeshare exit info kit explaining your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley for your free kit. 800-329-3737. That's 800-329-3737.
If you need to hire, you know it takes time. Well, what if you could meet with qualified candidates the very next day? Now you can with Zip Intro from ZipRecruiter. You simply pick a time and it does all the work of finding and scheduling qualified candidates for you. Then you choose who you want to talk to and meet with great people on back-to-back video calls as soon as the next day.
Try Zip Intro for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. Zip Intro. Post jobs today. Talk to qualified candidates tomorrow.
Get ready for a night out with Jordan Davis. It's Country in the Park 2, Saturday, September 13th at Cal Expo. Along with the special guests Mitchell Tenpenny, Low Cash, Vincent Mason, and Abriana. Make it a family day out with food trucks, games, dancing, and more. Saturday, September 13th at Cal Expo with Michelob Ultra. Tickets are available now at CITPFest.com.
Every day now turned into a night, catching circles under my eyes. I'm in heaven.
Your afternoon home for Kings Talk and so much more. The Drive Guys on Sacktown Sports.
Are you ready for a Kevin Durant update, Drapes? From Evan Sittery. He says the Suns have been in active trade negotiations on Kevin Durant with the following teams over the past 24 hours. Of course, he cites Shams.
Yeah.
Heat, Knicks, Rockets, Spurs, Timberwolves. A trade will be done ahead of the 2025 NBA draft on June 25th. You know, a team that I've seen mentioned relative to Kevin Durant is, have you heard the Hawks? Have you heard some of that being thrown around?
I heard that, like a week ago or something.
Yeah. I don't know if there's anything to that. We'll find out. Nice enough to join us. Hawks reporter with Locked on Hawks, Brad Rowland. How are you today, Brad?
I'm doing well. Thanks for having me, guys.
Oh, you're very welcome. We appreciate your time. We know this is a busy time of year for basketball reporting types. First of all, I know it seems kind of silly, but is there anything to, as far as you can tell, anything that could link the Atlanta Hawks to KD?
I heard like a little rumbling, but I don't know how serious it is. And then in recent days, there's been reporting about, Miami and the usual suspects, and the Hawks are not really been in that national reporting. So I'm kind of skeptical, but they do have the pieces if they wanted to do it. I'm just not sure they're quite to the all-in move stage that would be traded for Kevin Durant.
Gotcha.
Hey, Brad, what are you hearing about what the Hawks may be targeting, who they may be targeting? What do they need?
It's interesting. They're kind of a difficult team to track because they have this starting five of young players who kind of fit together, and that's their young core. And most teams don't have like the same five guys that can actually play in a lineup together as their young core. It's usually like a couple guys in one position or whatever, but they have their five best young players form a lineup. They don't have like a screaming need, but they also have depth concerns. They have, basically like injury concerns the last couple of seasons. They have size concerns. Their starting center, who I do like, Onyeka Okongwu, is a limited player in terms of size at center. So they have some questions there, and really just youth. Like if they want to win now and win more in the short term, which I think has been the reporting when they fire the GM, it's like, hey, win now, win more.
Mm-hmm.
They're not quite ready to do that without adding at least some depth and quality veterans to this roster.
Speaking of the reporting, and we're talking to Brad Rowland from Locked on Hawks, there was a report from Grant Afseth that the Kings had talked to the Hawks about Trae Young, but that those talks had stalled. How much stock do you think we should put into that report that the Hawks and Kings at least were having discussions at some point? Any light you can shed on that for us, Brad?
Yeah, I think it's a pretty normal conversation topic between the two teams. And I don't mean that in a pejorative way. Like, I feel like it's a reasonable discussion to have. The Kings are, if you were scanning the league and said, what teams would even just make sense to trade for Trae Young, I think the Kings would be on my list. I don't know if they'd be number one, but they'd be high on my list, just of theoretical teams. At the same time, I don't speak for the Hawks, but I don't love the options to match salary and kind of put this trade together. So it's like there's some incentive on both sides, but also there isn't like a perfect deal that screams at me. Maybe it's just Zach LaVine and picks, but do the Hawks want Zach LaVine? I'm not sure. There's always a big split on Zach LaVine given how much money he makes. He's a good player, of course, but I've heard maybe they've talked, but I don't think it's anything terribly serious right now. And I think the reporting that it's cooled off is probably right, but this is silly season too. Smoke screens are out there and we're kind of in crunch time in the next 10 days.
Hey, in terms of, I want to stick with the Trae Young here real quick. One of my concerns about Trae, and maybe this is unfounded, and this is why I'm asking you, is we need sort of a culture setter here in Sacramento, a leader, not only from a basketball standpoint, but locker room, community. How would you assess Trae Young in that regard?
I think he has come a very long way. in that regard.
Okay.
I think when he was, probably getting more shine than he does now nationally as a younger player, when he was probably, averaging even more points than he does now, and all of that kind of had the shine of a young player on him. He was young, and I mean by age young, and maturity wise, he wasn't. And he'll tell you, he's not the most natural leader. I think when he was 20, 21 years old, he was the face of the franchise, and maybe wasn't ready for that as far as leadership is concerned. But now he's a dad, and he's 26 now. I think he's definitely more ready to be that kind of leader. He's never going to be this most galvanizing vocal guy in the world, but he has done a lot more of that, both publicly and privately, from what I've been told. And I think he's just an adult now. I don't mean that he wasn't before, but hopefully that comes across appropriately. He's just grown up a lot over the last 6-7 years. And, would that be different in a different place? Maybe. He's pretty vocal, at least he has been recently, how much he loves Atlanta. I don't know what that means, but it's one of those things where, he's also, he lives in Oklahoma still part-time. He lives in California part-time. He's not, a one-city guy, so I think he can probably go somewhere else and be galvanizing, even if he's not, again, the most, natural, charismatic leader. He's come a long way in that department.
Yeah, Brad Rowland with us. Brad, I wanted to ask you about reports that the Hawks are trying to move up in the first round. I think it was our buddy Rafael Barlow who suggested that. We've been hearing that about the Kings, about a lot of teams, which makes sense with the CBA. What, if anything, can you tell us about the Hawks and a willingness to or an effort to try to move up, maybe package their 2 picks and move up in the first round?
Yeah, I think it's definitely on the table for them. I was actually reading a tweet from Sam Massini of The Athletic just a few minutes ago about how, it's we're in weird smokescreen season where, it doesn't always make sense, but it also could be true. And I think if you just kind of do the logical, take a half step back and say, would it make sense for the Hawks to package their picks? Maybe they could. If there was a guy they loved, there's been some buzz about Kamen Malawach, the big center from Duke.
Yes.
If the Hawks wanted to add a big center to what I said before, they don't have that 7-foot guy on their roster to kind of be an anchor for them. That'd be a way to do it. I think if he doesn't fall far enough, there's only so high you can go with 13 and 22. That doesn't take you to 3 or 4. You probably get to 7 or 8 at the absolute most. So they're in the market for that. They're in the market to trade one of the picks, I think, from what I've heard. Maybe to add a veteran. So they're a pretty interesting team. They don't have 4 picks; they have 2. Of course, one of them was the Kings pick. Not to bring up that subject on this.
Thanks a lot, Brad.
But
thanks a lot for that.
I had to. I had to at least mention it while I was talking to you guys. But no, it's one of those things where they could definitely move up, but they also don't have to. If that makes sense.
Hey, Brad.
That's all right, because the Kings got Kevin Huerter.
Yeah, we got Kevin. We got 48 wins and a first-round playoff berth out of that. Yes. Brad, what Clint Capella, I know he's a free agent. Everything I'm reading, his time in Atlanta is done. I think he's 31. Does he still have anything left in the tank? And what do you think the market is for him out there?
I think you're right. I think Clint is probably going to move on. They haven't totally closed the door, but I think it'll probably take him just not having a market to come back to Atlanta. No ill will there. They still like him. He's just gotten older. He's still a useful player. My kind of general way of describing Clint is that he went from being a really good starter when he got here, maybe even higher than that, to a pretty good starter to now he's probably a really good backup center. And on some teams, he'd probably still be the starter. On the Lakers right now, he'd be their best starter.
Right.
What does that mean for you, for instance? But he's still valuable. 31 years old, like you said. Still rebounds the ball well. It's just offensively, he's very limited. So if you have to, he can't really do much for you other than offensive rebound on that end of the floor. But defensively, he's still a veteran. He's in the right places. He's a great rebounder. So he can still a role, but gone are the days when he's flying around like he used to when he was a top tier athlete.
Brad, we appreciate your time. Other than that, that knock on the Kings,
Brad, is excellent
cheap
stuff.
shot on the draft. Thank you very much, Brad. We hope to talk to you again soon. Thanks for your insight.
Happy to do it, guys. Thanks.
Yeah.
All right.
So it sounds like, the Hawks are looking at Trae Young, and we don't know. What, could we move him? Will someone take his salary? Let's call Scott. Hey, Scott, what do you think?
No, we're not interested.
Okay, there you go.
All right, so is that a name we could check off the list? No more Trae Young talk here in Sacramento?
Brogdon off the list?
Yep. Trae Young?
Off the list.
Okay, all right. Just making sure.
Don't you think?
Yes. I'm with you. I think so also. And I'll also bring up what the 510 said. We need to stop looking at any player over 30 and guards over 30 million. So that means Drew Holiday.
Yep.
Check.
Yep. I was saying to my guards, I want them like my Christmas cake.
Oh, yeah.
25th.
25th,
perfect.
right?
That's when you have your Christmas cake. 26th.
Okay, you can still eat it. Starting to get a little hard.
Start to get towards New Year's. Nah. No, thank you. That's my philosophy.
Man. But there ain't much else out there, though, Whitey. Chris Paul, Marcus Smart, Drew Holiday. It's going to be Tyus Jones, your boy.
Bing, 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 bing. Okay. He just makes so much sense.
Makes a lot of sense. And not just for us, other teams too.
Yeah,
but
he makes so much sense. That's what I think fans
as our
like about us. Like, he's just too sensible.
But he's like 27, 28 also, though.
Oh, I know.
Whitey, that Christmas cake or whatever. He's up there. He's got that hard exterior. He's 29.
Oh.
Christmas cake theory goes out the window there,
A little
right?
bit younger than that old guy.
All right, just saying.
You could have a Christmas cake on the 29th. Yeah, you might
yeah.
need a lot of
wash it down or something.
Pop it in the microwave.
Yep. There it is.
There you go. There is no perfect.
That's true.
26-year-old all-star that no one wants, but that I know is good. Grab him.
I'm with you on that, man. You preach it to the choir here.
Yeah. If I had to bet, I'd bet on Tyus Jones.
No,
again, not hoping, but bet.
Makes the most sense. Short money.
Yeah.
Don't have to,
yeah,
be tied to him for too long.
And then fans might be, oh, big deal. But then if they can pull off moving up in the draft, then we got something going, Jay.
Got something cooking.
Yeah.
Jay.
You don't think they'll
Ain't
do
nobody
it?
in the back half of the draft I'm ready to just jump for joy for yet.
Not even Bogolju Markovic?
Yeah, sure.
Right?
That's your guy.
No, you might get Ramsey's guy. I mean, you might have a shot at Clayton. If
He ain't a starter right now, though, I don't think.
Okay.
All right.
I think that's the plan, but we'll find out soon enough. How about this plan when we come back? I hope we can hear from Jay on this. Is baseball ready for robo-umps?
Ooh.
They will be, everyone throws this out every so often. It looks like they will be here sooner than you would think based on what the commissioner says. Are we ready for that, Drapes? Is it going to ruin everything?
Yeah. Okay.
Find out next. Drive Guys, Sacktown Sports.
Hey, it's Carmichael Dave. Summer is pretty much here, and Father's Day is right around the corner. One way to get dad fired up for Father's Day, trust me, I know, stop into Amy's Outdoor Living and see their ultimate lineup of barbecue grills. We're talking Weber gas grills starting at just $3.99. Traeger Woodridge pellet grills starting at $7.99. That's a great price. Rectech begins at just $5.99. Plus, think about this. Amy's has free setup and delivery. The Gosney pizza ovens, I got one of those, starts at $3.99. Nothing like being out back with your family, making a homemade pizza. Find great gifts for dad like Yeti coolers and comfy hammocks. Amy will pay the sales tax on all in-stock furniture. Family-owned and operated, Amy's Outdoor Living on El Camino near Watt, where I used to go as a kid with my dad, and also brand new in the El Dorado Hills Town Center. Tell them your good buddy Carmichael Dave sent ya.
Hey, it's Mike Rohn. If I have a choice, I like to do business with companies that actually stand for something. That's why I switched from Verizon to Pure Talk. No offense to Verizon, I'm sure they stand for something. I just don't know what it is. Pure Talk, on the other hand, is a veteran-owned company that supports our military in a big way, and I appreciate that. Yeah, I also appreciate unlimited talk and text and plenty of data for half the cost of the big guys, and I do like being on America's most dependable 5G network for just $20 a month, but what I really appreciate is no contract, no cancellation fees, and Pure Talk's commitment to handle all their customer service in this country. I saw it for myself. I went to Georgia. I got a tour of their headquarters. I met their CEO, and I talked to the same customer service folks that you'll talk to when you dial pound 250 and say keyword Mike Rowe. Switch today and save 50% off your first month when you dial pound 250 and say keyword Mike Rowe. Pure Talk. A wireless company that actually stands for something.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-6814. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-6814. 800-575-6814. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
The hot weather is coming. Is your HVAC system ready for it? Let Lee's Air Plumbing and Heating make sure it is. Get to Lee'sAirPlumbingandHeating.com. Check out their $99 HVAC tune-up special. And let me tell you why Lee's Air Plumbing and Heating is the way to go. They took care of me when our heater collapsed over the winter, and Lee's set us up with a great new HVAC system that is providing comfort, value, and quality. Let Lee's Air Plumbing and Heating take care of you. License number 635355.
Hot summer savings explode at Maida's Elk Grove Chevy. Save $12,000 off MSRP after rebates. Every new 2025 Silverado half-ton LT and RST in stock. Maida Chevy has similar savings on every new Silverado. One of the largest selections in the Sacramento area. $12,000 off new Silverado exclusively at the Maida Chevy Silverado Supercenter. Now that's big, huge. See them all at MaidaChevy.com. Together, let's drive.
Just rating 2011 renewal. Not available with special financing, lease, and some other offers.
The only station in Sacramento giving you local sports coverage from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. Monday through Friday. Sacktown Sports.
I'm trying not to get overly excited about this, but this could end everything as we know it when it comes to baseball. This is something that's been talked about for years. Robo-umpires, robot umpires. Commissioner Rob Manfred announced last week that the automated ball strike system, ABS, could be implemented in Major League Baseball as early as next season, Drapes. Next season. Jay, next season. Robot strike zone. It's the end of humanity as we know it. Manfred is planning a proposal to employ the challenge system previously used in the minor leagues and in spring training. So, according to this plan, which, by the way, 63% of players oppose, 17.4% are in favor, 19.4% are, I don't know. But it wouldn't be full-time balls and strikes called by a computer, but it would allow the challenge system that we saw in spring training. That's what he's trying to implement.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, all right. So you still have umpires, but then depending on whatever mechanisms they approve,
they go to
you
that.
can still go, strike three. Hold on. I want to challenge that.
And then,
well, you can't. You lost your challenge earlier, or, all right, let's go to review. And actually, I don't think it'll take them long. I think they'll know right away.
No, they'll know right away.
Boop, boop, boop.
Yeah, just.
You're right. Ball four, take your base.
Like tennis, right? With the Hawkeye system or whatever?
Yeah. Is that the one that's like automated where you see a computer simulation of what might have happened?
Yeah, and it's like,
see, I don't like that.
You don't like that? You don't trust that?
Because it's not actually what happened. So am I wrong? Is this like inevitable? It's fine. It's going to lead to more correct calls and it's going to be better? Because I don't see it that way.
Does it slow the game down more or what?
Maybe a little bit.
Okay.
You know, I think in spring training they were able to maintain their pace for the most part.
Well, the problem, and we see it in the NBA with the challenge system and things like that is how many challenges do you get?
Yeah, you introduce the gamesmanship.
Right. It's like, and then
are you trying to get the calls right or are you what?
Yeah. It's and then if you do challenge and get it right, correct or incorrect, whatever. That doesn't mean like there's probably 10 calls a game that you could challenge or 20.
Right.
And so does it really have that big of an impact in helping out the sport?
To me, baseball has so many issues.
Yes.
And I love baseball. You know that. Jay played baseball at a very high level.
Mm-hmm.
Baseball has so many issues. And if you list them, this addresses none of the real issues baseball's having.
Yeah, I don't think anybody's asking for that, right?
Spend your time trying to fix the things that people really have a problem with.
Yeah, I can't agree with you more on that. Yeah, 100%, fellas. I'm with you. they're barking up the tree that necessarily doesn't need to be barked upon.
Right.
Yeah, I'm with you. I mean, as you talked about yesterday, let's figure out what's going on with the A's in Tampa right now.
Right.
How about expansion right now? Things like that. Milwaukee's getting ready to go through a whole ballpark situation from what it sounds like. And you're talking about robotic umpires. Yeah, that right now you're wasting your time, money, and effort.
Yeah.
I'm with
and
you.
It's
I'm out on that.
just look bad. People are not going to, get rid of the human element. Let's have everything computerized. Yes. Oh, yes, we like that. I mean, that is, you tell us, Jay, you played a lot more baseball than us. It's part of the game. Yeah, there are going to be times when the umpires miss. Umpires do a pretty good job, by the way.
They do.
They do a really good job at that level. But that is part of the game. You're going to have bad calls. All right. That's part of the game.
Human nature.
Yeah.
I'm with you. Human nature. I'd rather have human nature. And I'll tell you this, one of the things is playing infield. And of course you get to hit in all those different avenues. The conversations go away. What's up, Blue? Having those things. Hey, Blue, move to the left for me. What'd you eat last night? Those intricacies of the game also will be missed as well. You can't talk to to a robot.
I love watching that when, the guy, the hitter will, the ball, and then pitcher or the hitter will ask, was that a strike or was that high? Or, yeah. Okay.
Same spot, Blue.
Yeah.
All those different things, man. Is that is that the corner? How far off?
Right.
Like sometime you swing, would that have been a strike, Blue?
Yeah.
They'll tell you, nah, that was a little off. Those type of conversations. I bet if you talk to a bunch of catchers, they definitely have
they're very
whole
upset.
different personal view on it.
Yeah. One catcher, I don't know if he was named, but he said it's 15 years working on framing out the window.
Right.
Because that does not matter now. If you frame it,
Strike
the
a ball.
robot doesn't know that you framed it well.
Right. Yeah.
Either a ball or a strike.
That's a great point.
Yeah.
That's part of human nature, the art, the craft of being a catcher.
Yeah.
No doubt.
And also there are catchers that get paid a lot of money because they're better at that
good
than
at
other
that.
guys.
I believe it.
And if we go to this system, it's like, sorry, it just doesn't matter anymore. Your skill does not matter.
Let me ask you this, though, regarding framing. You baseball guys. Is framing a form of flopping?
Yes, I've always thought so.
What?
Because you're trying to deceive the ump.
Yes.
Nah, man.
Yes or no, Jay? Talk.
It's an art. It's craft, baby.
I mean, my boy Shea Gilgeous, free throw merchant.
Yeah.
But yet a catcher, if he's
he's a genius. He's an artist back there.
Yeah.
It's all deception, though, right? It's deception.
Yeah.
True, but this is the thing. I think if we're talking about flopping, it's unnatural.
Mm-hmm.
Receiving and catching a ball is natural. It's
that ain't natural, right?
But it is though. It is though. Absolutely. That is natural because technically, and catchers, please correct me. I didn't play catcher, but 1 year, my junior year in high school, when you drop your hand, framer? I don't know. Yeah. Because again, I was just the best on the team, and they were like, "Hey, listen, we need you to catch."
Yeah.
But when you drop your hand, how you receive the ball, or where you receive it, or how you bring it in. You're still catching the ball. That's natural. That's not something where it's like you're flailing all out of the way, or you're falling and doing a somersault half tuck just to get a foul. Like, nah, that'd be different.
All right.
There's a guy that was on the Yankees. I don't think he's currently in the majors. He might be. Maybe he's with Baltimore. Yeah, I guess he's been playing with Baltimore. Gary Sanchez. Remember Gary Sanchez?
Yeah.
He was a better hitter than catcher. He's the worst framer I ever saw because no matter where the pitch is, he takes it right back to the middle of the strike.
Right back to
like in a bounce over here.
Right.
No, that's not. You're not going to get that call. Right. It's the worst framing you've ever seen.
But that's why it's an art. It's a skill. Flailing is not an art. It's not a skill.
But catching a ball here and then whoop, moving
but
your
you don't
strike
see
it's not a natural movement.
Both of you guys aren't catchers. See, that's the problem because you're not moving. It's how you receive the ball. Technically, and again, if catchers want to call in, I'm not a catcher.
Right.
But being a part of baseball, watching catchers learn different things. When you're supposed to show them that's old school elementary T-ball, but you show them your spot. You drop your hand means your wrist goes limp, so to say. Mm-hmm. And how you receive the ball is how you frame the ball. Meaning, if it's outside, you're not moving it in. You're dropping it. Yeah, but those guys aren't good. Mm-hmm. They're not receivers of the ball. It's like a wide receiver. Some people bring it in. Some people can snatch it. Some people pluck it out the air.
Patrick Bailey's really good at it. On the pitch that's a little outside. Boop,
There you go.
And he'll hold it there.
Yeah, but see, you too deliberate. You're too deliberate. You gotta bring it in, White. You gotta it's like an art, baby.
Mm-hmm.
Smooth, scoop the ice cream. It's gotta be smooth, man.
I'm not a big fan of framing. I appreciate it, but I would rather have framing than have automatic.
Yeah.
Of course.
No, I'm with you on that.
Yeah.
I think we're in agreement.
Mm-hmm. I just don't know why they're spending time on that. They've actually done a good job, haven't they, with speeding up the game. I hated the pitch clock. I think it's worked. Even the stupid guy on second base for extra innings. I
think
that's
like
worked.
It. Okay.
I hated it. I kind of like it. So they've actually, even the stupid bases are bigger and there's more steals and you can only throw over 3 times and a guy has to stay in the game to face 3 hitters. I hated all those. I have to say, all right, but this is going too far. It's just stupid. There's no reason for it.
I don't know. Your boy Spencer Lampkins on YouTube, worst commissioner of all time.
Yep.
He's taken my favorite sport and made me completely uninterested. Baseball was perfect for 200 years and they ruined it in 3.
Amen.
I don't know if it's perfect, but yeah, I see where Spencer's going though. Shouts out to him. The speed of it is definitely better.
It is.
The clock and all that. And to be completely honest, fellas, it's just it was a mechanism to speed up the game. Shot clock,
Yeah.
I've always said you could take away less warm-up pitches in between innings, especially as you get to like the 3rd, the 4th, 5th inning. You don't have to keep continuing work, warming up your arm, all that type. But here we go. Here go pitchers again. They softies, so like stuff like that. You can speed up a game, but when it comes to robotic, robots being umpires, that's completely.
I'm with Spencer, and maybe you too, Jay. Hopelessly old school when it comes to baseball. They had a survey of players. They asked them, "What changes would you make?" And I don't think it was a high number, but a number of players said, "Go back to the days when you could run over the catcher."
I love it.
Okay.
I'm with that.
Take
that
a
was
shot.
baseball.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
The home plate collision.
Oh
Right.
yeah, I like that.
And if the catcher, like Carlos Hernandez was a guy, he wouldn't block home plate. Okay, but that was baseball.
I'm with you on that.
Yes.
With the speed of it now, there's a few
And
things.
Take out the second baseman on the turn.
Now, I don't know about all that.
Oh, that's getting dirty.
Yeah, you might. People have lost careers because of that.
Take him out.
Well, you might get stomped out.
When we come back, the Pacers were the Pacers more than the Thunder were the Thunder. And where does that leave us next? Sacktown Sports.
This is the story of the one. As a safety manager at a manufacturing plant, he does everything he can to keep his coworkers safe. From finding ways to reduce risks to keeping safety supplies in stock. And for that, he relies on Grainger. Grainger offers a broad range of quality products and next-day delivery, so he can always play it safe. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Carmichael Dave here. Golfers, listen up. Timber Creek and Sierra Pines, my go-to courses in Sacramento, just dropped the best ball deal of the year. Now through June 15th, when you stop by Timber Creek and buy 2 dozen Strixon golf balls, you get the 3rd dozen for free. I did that last weekend. We're talking the same Z-Star series used on tour, plus Q-Star and Soft Feel, whatever fits your game. It's the perfect excuse to stock up, hit the range, play some of the best conditioned golf in the region. Head to Timber Creek today and take advantage before it's gone.
$5,000. That's the average amount of money people in the U.S. are now spending on gas in a year. $5,000. That's crazy. If you drive, you have to download Upside, the free app that gives you cash back every time you get gas. That's right. You can earn real cash back with Upside just by buying the gas you're already buying. You can literally start earning cash back today.
I use Upside every time I fill up, and I've already made around $300.
You're putting gas in your car anyway. Why not get real cash back? If you like free money, download Upside.
I'm saving the cash I earn from using Upside to help pay for a vacation later this year.
Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code GREEN to get an extra 25 cents per gallon on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank, PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code GREEN for a 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code GREEN for a 25 cents per gallon bonus.
If you need to hire, you know it takes time. Well, what if you could meet with qualified candidates the very next day? Now you can with Zip Intro from ZipRecruiter. You simply pick a time and it does all the work of finding and scheduling qualified candidates for you. Then you choose who you want to talk to and meet with great people on back-to-back video calls as soon as the next day.
Try Zip Intro for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. Zip Intro. Post jobs today. Talk to qualified candidates tomorrow.
Now more than ever, Lowe's knows you don't just want a low price, you want the lowest price. And with our lowest price guarantee, you can count on us for competitive prices on all your home improvement projects. If you find a qualifying lower price somewhere else on the same item, we'll match it. Lowe's, we help, you save. Price match applies the same item, current price at qualifying retailers. Exclusions and terms apply. Learn how we'll match price at lowes.com/lowest price guarantee.
The Hagen Oaks Cutting Edge Putter Fitting Studio offers you more technology, more choices, and more service. Hagen Oaks wants to be your go-to total golf game fitter. With $30,000 worth of state-of-the-art technology ready for your fitting, Hagen Oaks will help you make your best putting stroke while finding the best putter design, shape, hosel, length, and loft for your game. Schedule your fitting at the Hagen Oaks Player Performance Studio by calling 916-808-2531. That's 808-2531 for more.
Skeeter here. Got a question. What's small and dark with white bands on its legs and bites during the day?
Mosquitoes. Hi, I'm Luz Maria Robles, but these are two new types of day-biting mosquitoes. They're invading our area and becoming a big problem.
And they can be dangerous.
But we're on it, so when you see them, report it at fightthebite.net. In the meantime, use insect repellent and drain stagnant water around your yard.
We're here to help with these day-biting mosquitoes.
Visit us at fightthebite.net.
Finally, an easy way to find home improvement contractors. Just visit subcontractorsunited.com and simplify your search for home services professionals. From cabinets to windows, roofing to plumbing, Subcontractors United is an easy, simple way to find and hire a home improvement contractor. And you never have to give up personal information. So no harassing phone calls like you get from those other websites. Subcontractorsunited.com is sponsored by D&D Cabinets and Savage Design.
KHD1 Sacramento, KYMX HD3 Sacramento.
From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios, Sacktown Sports 1140. Live and local, it's the Drive Guys. Watch the show on youtube.com/Sacktown Sports 1140.
Or listen on the Sacktown Sports app.
Your U.S. Open update. I believe I just saw this Drapes. Zach Polo from Rockland.
Yes.
63rd place, +4. I mean, for an amateur at the freaking U.S. Open.
Yeah. Solid day for Zach.
Let's go, Sacramento.
I got him tied for 63, +4. Yeah, he's, back nine kind of killing him a little bit. I think he's 5 over on the back. 9.
That'll happen at Oakmont.
It's a tough course. Tough course. No,
tough track.
He's better than. Let me just go down the list here. Dustin Johnson. He's better than. Joaquin Neiman. He's better than. And exactly. Who else here? I'm just going. Justin Thomas. My boy Justin. Jason Day. Tony Finau. Justin Rose. A lot of good players have struggled on this course today. Hey, I know we're going to get back to basketball, but I do have to get something off my chest.
Let's do it.
And I'm only going to take a couple of minutes here. I don't want to get into this lengthy discussion. But should there be a such thing as vending machine etiquette in a workplace?
How do you mean?
All right. Now, let's say you run a vending machine business, Whitey.
Okay.
And
I can't say I haven't thought about it.
I've thought about it too.
Yeah.
And there's one thing that's always empty. You stock something up, come back next week, it's gone.
Popular item.
Vending machine etiquette would say, restock that same item. We're not doing it here at Sacktown Sports Living.
Okay.
And it got me kind of thrown off.
I'm not sure that's etiquette. I see it's a problem. It's just like
because it's thinking of the people in the office.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
It's like, they must really like that.
Somebody doesn't have any pretzels.
No
today.
freaking pretzels in the vending machine today. Now, let me say this. They only had pretzels for 1 week. This was last week. And I plowed through those things.
Yeah.
Like bang, 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 bang. 2 at a time, 2 packs at a time.
And you wonder why it's empty.
No, but then, it's not just empty. They replaced it with something entirely different.
That doesn't even make sense.
Exactly. It's like some trail mix, Chex Mix kind of thing down there.
Bad business.
Exact, 100%.
Isn't there a sign somewhere about if you have complaints, call here?
Complain, dude, where's the pretzels?
Yes.
But I was a little disappointed. I made my pretzel run. I didn't have any yesterday. Remember, I was trying to be healthy yesterday. But today I was like, you know what? I need a little snack. So I went down there excited because I knew the vending machine was probably filled up again. You know, they replenished the stock. No pretzels.
Well, we can do that on the air. We'll have to call the guy.
Yeah, who do we need to talk to?
Yeah. I thought when you, and I know that's very serious, but when you first talked about etiquette, it reminded me of one time when I was at Panera. And, you know, Panera gets pretty crowded sometimes when there's a lot of people there. So I was trying to get a soda. There was 2 women in front of me, and I thought they were in line at the counter where you get your food.
Yeah.
And they're talking and talking. And so I went in between them and I got my soda. And they looked at me. And this lady says, "You shoved me out of the way." I didn't touch anybody. How dare you? You shoved me out of the way. So I thought you were in line. I'm so sorry. And they were both of them were just so indignant. You know, like, what's the term? Daggers. They were just looking at me like, what do you think you're doing?
You know what, Whitey?
I was just getting a soda. I'm really sorry.
I'm on their side.
Thank you.
Wait, what? No. Jay, I've seen this dude in his Diet Pepsi. He's serious about his Diet Pepsi.
No, he drinks regular Pepsi.
It's a regular Pepsi?
Yeah, he drinks pure cane sugar, baby.
I'm kind of
cracking the can.
But yeah, they're just standing there.
So you're a Pepsi fiend. Is that what it is?
No, I don't even think I was getting Pepsi. I was getting at Panera. I always get, Sprite with the lemonade. Just bloop, bloop, bloop. And they're just standing there and they're talking. And I thought, okay, they're in line to get, they're waiting for their food.
Now, how old were these ladies? Were they older?
My guess is it was a mother-daughter combo. We're talking like 60 and 30 something or something like that.
Yeah.
They were not happy.
I could see you doing that for your soda.
Just walking in between them and I didn't
elbow it and everything.
I did not. That's the thing. I almost got mad because I was like, I'm sorry.
So were they waiting for their food, you're saying?
I guess
that's
they were
what you
getting their
thought.
soda, but they're just standing there blocking the soda line. So that, I'm so sorry. But when she said, "You shoved me," I did not touch anybody. I went back before I left. I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to, but they didn't, I thought they go, "Oh, it's okay." But no, they were just like staring at me like, "You're the worst human being I've ever seen in my life."
Yeah, you cut in line, man. You shoved them out the way to get soda.
I didn't shove.
James, what are you saying? White gets a little belligerent if he doesn't get that
it's Pepsi, man.
Okay.
Come on, man. He got 2 or 3 of them usually.
Tucked away in his bag just in case.
So when you were talking about etiquette vending machine,
that's what you're
So they should have moved. Did you say excuse me? Or
no,
because they were in the way
just
you just said
shoved himself in there.
I
snaked your way into it.
I did snake. I was like, Shay. And I didn't say, I don't think I said excuse me because I thought they were talking and looking at something else.
You didn't see an empty cup in their hand or anything like that? Or
Didn't read the room.
See, he had tunnel vision, Jay.
Yeah.
That Pepsi is like,
But man.
Whitey. Is there any acceptable where shoving is okay? Like,
no,
is there any?
Not generally at Panera.
I think, and I'm thinking like
they don't have a sign or anything that says no shoving, but I think it's pretty much.
But Pedro throwing Don Zimmer down on the floor. We look back on that like, oh, that was fantastic. He had it coming. He had it coming.
You Boston guy, maybe you do. I didn't think it was that terrific.
Any scenario in public where what?
Yes, like if there's a rabid beast that is attacking a wolf, and you have to shove them out of the way. Yes. Okay. Other than that, no, I don't think.
Okay.
Yeah.
What about in the mosh pit?
Oh, mosh pit.
Come on now. Yeah, come on now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you could do that.
Yeah, they don't have a lot of those at Panera, but sure.
You don't know.
Oh my God.
That blueberry muffin, that baguette calls.
Whitey, that's enough. That's
okay.
Awesome.
Yeah, so we got to follow up on that and get your pretzels.
I need to talk to somebody because,
like you need to talk to, man.
Jay, it's the most popular item in the vending machine. What are we doing here? And here's the problem that I have with the damn vending machine downstairs. They replaced it with this new product I've never seen before. It's not like they had Lay's chips up in there or Smart Food popcorn or anything like that, or Planters peanuts.
Maybe you should give it a try.
Nah, dude.
Draper, it tests very well in our other markets.
Let me knock you off your high horse.
Oh, you saved that too, Jake? But seriously, the most popular item. Is there a pretzel shortage I don't know about? I need to talk to somebody, get to the bottom of this.
Yeah.
Who do you want to talk?
Talk to Carrie, HR. You know what I mean?
They have other things that they're dealing with.
That's like baseball with robots, man. We got some other things to attend to.
Seriously, man. I need
Call
my
that
pretzels.
number on the machine or send an email or whatever it is.
Well, you know what I'm going to start doing?
Bringing
my own pretzels.
Oh,
Buy the bulk bag.
Yeah.
Costco brand.
Kirkland makes a nice pretzel.
I think I'll do that.
Make a
And then
nice.
divvy them up in little snack packs and bring them to work every day.
Yeah.
You ain't got that type of time.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
Well, that's too bad that you had to go through that.
Right. I went down. I was excited. I'm like, ooh, it's Thursday. They probably restocked. Yeah. So I wound up getting cheeses.
Yeah.
Just had to settle today, man.
You were a big Cheez-It guy for a while.
I know, but then they had pretzels last week. So that's like Christmas in June. I was excited.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm like, a new day here at Sacktown Sports Limit. It's a new era, the pretzel era.
You know, the Pacers have the Thunder twisted up like a pretzel, Drapes.
Ooh. Nah, that one fell flat. How much time we got? We got 48 minutes. Go ahead, man. I'll let you continue.
Yeah. The NBA Finals have taken an interesting turn to me because I was one of those people, and I got to walk it back a little bit now. OKC in 5. Yeah, they lost game 1. They should have won. They'll be fine. They might not lose another game. Well, now they're losing.
They're losing.
So I know I'm not the first to say this, but I'm not going to underestimate the Indiana Pacers anymore.
Really?
Yeah. They're legit.
It took them to get 2 wins away from the winning the championship for you to finally say,
Right,
you know what?
right.
They actually might be pretty damn good.
Those pesky Pacers. That's nice that they stole game 1, but it's going to be a rough series for them the rest of the way. But now they're in the driver's seat.
Do you think there's any what you got?
Tony Ray Harvey says vending machine etiquette gate.
That's dude. That sounds like a video we should put together with some, Inspector Gadget music or something like that. I'm like, got my glasses on and disguise and everything.
The funniest thing is you go, we got to talk to somebody. Who do you talk to?
There has to be a person in charge of restocking the vending machine.
I think it says on the machine, it says if you have a problem or issue, call this number. What? That's your problem or issue.
No, that's for if you lose $1 or your money doesn't, your product doesn't come out.
It doesn't say what's a problem, what's not a problem. You have a problem.
You know what, though? I'm going to go talk to Carrie about this. Because you know what we should do
I don't
here?
even think she's the person to talk to. I think it's Cindy.
All right, I'm going to talk to Cindy about this.
Cindy's the one. Yeah.
Because I don't know if you guys use the vending machine or not, but
I haven't in a while.
There should be like a list where you can write your request for vending machine food. Like you got to have pretzels.
Put it on there.
Pretzels, chips, peanuts got to be on there. Smart Food is probably the 4th thing. And then some sort of beef jerky if you're trying to be moderately healthy.
And none of that's in there?
Nah, they got beef jerky, but I don't like it out of the vending machine.
Wish you luck.
I'm upset, man. I'm upset. No, seriously, I'm really upset about this, Whitey. How do you
not do something about it? What are you going to do with that energy, that anger? You going to turn it inward, or you going to do something about it?
No, I'm going to take it to the golf course, hit some golf balls here in about an hour or so. Take it out. Yeah.
I'm tempted to go down there and find the number and take care of it myself, but no, you have to do that. You have to resolve it.
Jay, you got Cindy's number?
I don't.
Damn. Say call her up. See if we can get to the bottom of this. Let me
see if I can get it. I'm pretty sure she's still here.
Let me see if she can come on the Drive Guys and get to the bottom of this.
I'll tell you, the one thing the Thunder lack is something you do not lack right now is that fire. The Thunder are a little too laid back, a little too, we're good.
Right.
Last night, I know we talked about this earlier. There was a play where Caruso goes to the basket. And there's Neesmith from behind. It's like 1984 all over again. Brings him down.
Yeah,
Neesmith. Hands up,
hammered
down
him.
on the shoulders. One arm went where you shouldn't.
Yep.
Almost got him in the business. Down goes Caruso. Ooh, they're going to review that. They reviewed it. They ruled it was not a flagrant foul.
Common foul. Yep.
Jalen Williams is right there when it happens.
And what's he do, Whitey?
Well, does he turn to his teammate? Like, hey, let me help you up? No. Does he turn to Neesmith and at least glare at him? At least give him the evil eye. If not, step up on him. No, he doesn't do any of that.
Didn't do that either.
No. He turns the official with his palms up like, hey, isn't that a foul, bro? Meanwhile, the Pacers are everywhere, and you've got CJ McConnell.
TJ McConnell.
TJ, I almost said CJ McConnell. I was like, no, it wasn't
CJ
TJ
McConnell.
TJ McConnell.
Yeah, TJ.
Yeah, and he's screaming. And he's stealing inbounds passes.
Yes.
And he's like, ah!
Right.
It's no wonder the Thunder are down 2-1.
I'm with you, man.
Wake up!
They got to wake up. They're way too cool. And we know Shea's a cool customer.
He is.
But I'm going through their roster. Who has that sort of fire inside? Lou Dort?
Lou Dort's a fiery guy.
He could be, but J-Dub, I haven't seen it. Chet,
not really.
Chet, I saw it once against the Warriors when he hit that 3 to force overtime. But other than that, Cason Wallace, nice dude. Caruso, Wiggins, Hartenstein.
Kenrich Williams has a little bit in him, doesn't he? I seem to remember him giving somebody a little bit of something.
Yeah, but maybe they need that, man. Maybe they need somebody to just show some fight. Because what I'm saying from OKC, and I think this is what you're alluding to, this is the NBA freaking finals. The championship is on the line, and you're playing like it's a regular season game. That's what it feels like watching OKC sometimes. Like you could see the heart, the effort, the passion, the desire to win from Indiana. I don't see that from OKC.
No, I saw almost a sense of entitlement. We're the better team here.
Yeah.
We're supposed to win this. What are you guys doing?
Right.
Why are you acting that way? We're supposed to win this thing.
It was like, yeah, don't you know? Follow the script here, Pacers.
Yeah.
And I thought by game 3, OKC would wake up.
And so did they last night, right? They were up going into the fourth quarter.
89-84 going into the fourth quarter. Got the box score right in front of me here, Whitey. And then you look at the fourth quarter. Pacers outscored them 32-18. And here's the problem with OKC. They shot 35%. OKC did. Not good. We know that. But you allowed the Pacers to shoot 62% in the fourth quarter. That's the point of the game where you need to be raising your intensity.
You need stops. Yes.
And OKC's just not bringing. I'm looking at OKC like they have an identity crisis right now. They are a heavyweight boxer that took a couple of jabs to the face, got a little wobbly, and they're like, uh-oh.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so we'll see tomorrow, man.
Yeah. And Indiana did not even shoot that well from the 3-point line. They made 9 of 27. But in that fourth quarter, what happens? The tsunami starts. The Pacers start scoring. And then OKC's taking the ball out of the bottom of the basket.
Yeah.
And what are they doing? They're walking it up.
Right.
Okay, here we go. And Shea's walking it up. It's like, bro, there's a minute and a half left and you're down 7. You got to speed up the game a little bit. You may not want to, but you have no choice. And they just didn't realize it. So I'm hoping they wake up. I would hate to see Indiana win this thing.
They might.
In short order.
They might.
I want to see a longer series.
How much credit are you giving Indiana for this, though? Because
Ton of credit. Aren't you?
Yeah, I saw a stat, Whitey, going into game 3. The Thunder's 3 fewest passing games, this season came against Indiana. Like, this Indiana defense seems like it's figured out OKC.
Yep. OKC, was complicit in their own demise last night. And they, after the game, talked about we had too many unforced errors, which is what teams do when they realize, wow, we got our asses kicked, but we don't want to give the other team credit. But they did make a lot of mistakes. I mean, McConnell stealing the inbounds pass and scoring after a made basket.
Right.
Like,
that
that's
can't
Harry
happen.
High School stuff.
Harry High School. You're right about that. And how about Shea, as great as he is, 6 turnovers to 4 assists last night.
Mm-hmm.
Upside down assist turnover ratio.
Yep.
And you're supposed to be the MVP, big fella.
Mm-hmm. From the 5-3-0 and the text line, the adversity of the playoffs has made the Pacers play that way. OKC was only tested by Denver. Otherwise, they've coasted through. Also from the 916, who likes pretzels? And from the 5-3-0, weird memory, but Whitey was on air 20 years ago in the morning talking about how bad his soda can smelled, and he couldn't figure it out.
You remember that?
I do remember that. Yeah.
What was the story behind that? Did it come out of a vending machine?
Don't know. No, I think it was from store-bought, but it was not pleasant.
Did you drink it?
Of course.
Dude.
Pour it in a cup.
One of the things I don't get about you,
and
there's a number of them, but one of them.
Sure.
You drink straight out of the can.
Yeah.
I can't do that. I can't drink straight out of a can, Jay.
So what you doing, man? You put a straw in it?
I'm pouring it into a cup.
Okay.
Or if I'm desperate and I'm out there, okay. Or I'm buying a bottle of soda. Ooh, you ever hear that novel idea? The can?
Mm-hmm.
Who drinks out of can? What?
I think a lot of people do.
Millions of people. Dude, I know Neanderthal. Come on, man. It's 2025, man. You probably bite into it. Nah, man. You get a straw or something. Pour it into a glass, Jay.
What?
I'm 50 years old.
Never heard of that, man.
What? That's somebody got to chime in on this and back me up on this.
So if it comes in a can, you literally won't drink it.
I mean,
Unless
if I'm desperate. Exactly.
What's desperate for grapes?
No, if I'm out at the park or something, we plan or something.
Yeah.
But let me ask you this.
What?
Do you at least wipe off the top of the can?
Oh, yeah.
Of course.
Okay, all right, making sure. Making sure.
No, I take the can upside down and rub it in the dirt.
I didn't know, man.
Rub it in the dirt.
I didn't know. I'm sure there are a lot of people like me out there that don't like to drink out of a can.
What?
I hate drinking out of a can. Oh, it's the worst thing. I can't do it. I really can't
Why not?
do it.
Is it the taste of it?
Nah,
So
just
what's going on?
I don't like aluminum on my mouth like that.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And then you got the opening, and what if your lip get caught on it or something like that? You know what I mean? It's not natural.
Yeah. Glass is better. I mean, on a hot day, especially that bottle.
My boy Compio backing me up.
Mm-hmm.
If you go to a distribution center, you wouldn't drink from a can.
Mm-hmm. What does that mean exactly?
That's a good question. But I can't do it, fellas. I can't do it. That's why I always buy the bottle.
Mm-hmm.
Or I got to have a straw. Or I'll pour it into a cup.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know if you've noticed, but I haven't been drinking as much Pepsi. So
yeah, what's up with that?
Yeah, just
trying to be healthier?
Yeah,
doctor's orders?
No. Yeah.
Because you got 2 water bottles here, huh?
Water and coffee.
Coffee?
Yeah.
Midday?
That's my second cup of coffee. I don't drink it in the morning anymore. I drink it on the show.
And that might be bigger than a cup, Whitey. That's like a cup and a half.
No, I don't know.
What's the ounces on it?
Yeah, what's the ounces?
Not sure, but it's a cup of coffee. Yeah.
Here's why I know I'm in the right.
How many cups of coffee do you have a day?
1.
I have 2.
I have 1 in the morning to start. Here's how I know I'm in the right regarding the aluminum can. Here is how I know I am on the right side of history. On the text line from the 916. This is Ramsey. Pouring a drink from a can to a cup is a waste of a cup, in my opinion. So Ramsey's a can drinker. I don't want to be on that side. I'm good.
Nate's TV says, your lips get caught. Ah, ha, ha. That was what you said. When you're struggling for reasons not to drink out of the can. You went to your lips get caught in the opening.
Hey, as my boy MC Calcium says,
yes,
bottle greater than the can, 1,000,000%.
Yeah, bottle is
because I've never seen you drink bottle out of the bottle.
I don't have the bottle. I buy it in a can. The bottle is better, but if it's in the can, I'm going to drink it out of the can.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Hey, I'll tell you what. We got to talk to Jose. We gotta get these clocks switched back to the 12. Taking a break at 12.
No, man.
This is great radio here.
This is better. When we come back, will the Kings be facing Mike Brown next season? After more drama next year. It's all we need. Next on Sacktown Sports.
Louis C.K. in an all-new show, Ridiculous 2025 Tour.
When I was younger, you had to go in the bank.
Remember that? You had to go inside the bank. Now you look in the bank, you're like, what are those people doing in there? Are they cleaning? The money's out here.
Friday and Saturday, June 13th and 14th, 8 p.m., the venue at Thunder Valley. For tickets, visit thundervalleyresort.com. Louis C.K. live on stage.
Get ready for a night out with Jordan Davis. It's Country in the Park 2, Saturday, September 13th at Cal Expo. Along with the special guests, Mitchell Tenpenny, Locash, Vincent Mason, and Avriana. Make it a family day out with food trucks, games, dancing, and more. Saturday, September 13th at Cal Expo with Michelob Ultra. Tickets are available now at CITPFest.com.
Finally, an easy way to find home improvement contractors. Just visit subcontractorsunited.com and simplify your search for home services professionals. From cabinets to windows, roofing to plumbing, Subcontractors United is an easy, simple way to find and hire a home improvement contractor. And you never have to give up personal information. So no harassing phone calls like you get from those other websites. Subcontractorsunited.com is sponsored by D&D Cabinets and Savage Design.
Alan Stiles here with your Sacktown Sports Injury Update, brought to you by Downtown LA Law Group. Shea Langoliers exited a game last week after experiencing discomfort following a swing. The A's will have more information as to the severity of the injury after he undergoes further testing. Miguel Andujar, out with that right oblique strain, suffered it during a swing as well. He will be out a couple weeks, if not longer, per the A's Director of Sports Medicine and Rehabilitation, Brian Shulman. That was your Sacktown Sports Injury Update, brought to you by Downtown LA Law Group. Hey, I'm Alan Stiles. Have an injury? Call Downtown. Downtown LA Law Group, an injury law firm, has many happy clients in Sacramento and the surrounding areas who have called Downtown. Get paid for your injuries from slip and falls or auto accidents. One of their most recent settlements was $1.5 million for a motorcycle accident. Have you had an auto accident? Call Downtown. Text injury help to 40222. That's injury help to 40222 and visit them at calldowntown.com.
If you need to hire, it seems like the whole process can be exhausting. You search resumes, wait for the right candidates to apply, set up initial interviews. It's a lot of time and work. Well, what if you could meet with qualified candidates for your job the very next day? Now you can with Zip Intro from ZipRecruiter. And right now, you can try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. Zip Intro is super easy to use. You simply pick a time, and it does all the work of finding and scheduling qualified candidates for you. Then you can choose who you want to talk to and meet with great people on back-to-back video calls as soon as the next day. Best of all, you save time and energy.
Try Zip Intro for free right now at this exclusive web address, ZipRecruiter.com/free. Zip Intro. Post jobs today. Talk to qualified candidates tomorrow. Once again, go to ZipRecruiter.com/free to try it for free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
The cards are lining up with Sky River Casino's $130,000 weekly Baccarat tournament. Every Thursday, now through June 26th, is your chance to share in $10,000 in prizes, with a guaranteed weekly winner taking home $5,000 in prizes. Feeling lucky? Your first hand is on us. Visit skyriver.com for complete details. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Must be 21 or older.
Your afternoon home for Kings Talk and so much more. The Triad Guys on Sacktown Sports.
It's starting to look like Mike Brown might be back in the NBA this year after all. After the Kings dismissed him unceremoniously, we heard his name pop up here and there, linked to this coaching job, that coaching job. Most of it, if not all of it, was just speculation by people connecting the dots. But now we have this, with the Knicks being turned down at every turn as they talk to everybody. Hey, I mean, they called a Subway. Could we talk to your manager about coaching? No, request denied. Every team that the Knicks have called has been denied. They've been denied permission to talk to that team's coach. Now, from Sam Amick, league sources say there is an increased Knicks focus on two former coaches who don't require permission to pursue, Mike Brown and Taylor Jenkins.
Wow. Interesting.
Coach Brown could be back.
And him and Jordy just a stone's throw from each other.
Gosh.
Out in across the Brooklyn Bridge out there.
At least the Kings only play them twice.
Right.
The Malone stuff, I just got tired of it. I understand it. Maybe some people feed off that. But I think it'd be bad for the Kings if that happens, just because it's a reminder of what happened. And it wasn't pleasant what happened. And you don't need that. You don't need Mike Brown talking about the franchise. I don't know. I hope it happens for his sake, but I'm not looking forward to those games if it does.
Nah, exactly. And anytime you play the Knicks, it's always a big game.
Yeah.
But now a Mike Brown Knicks team. And then if they win, we never should have let Mike go and everything like that. Oh, my God.
I know you know him, and I've talked to him.
That's my guy.
And really like him. Like talking to him. Really good with the media. So, yeah, I do wish the best for him. I do think if I was a Knicks, I'd hire Mike Brown before I'd hire Taylor Jenkins.
Tell me why.
Because Mike Brown has done more in more different settings. Taylor Jenkins did what he did with Memphis, and he did a good job there. But Mike Brown did good jobs in different circumstances with different teams.
Do you think, and this is a good topic, what's the...
Look who's in it, by the way. Hi, Cindy.
We need Cindy to jump on and throw on the headset, Shay. We need the headphones on. We got to get to the bottom of this. I was really going to just call her up, but we got to get to the bottom of this here. But, when it comes to Mike Brown... Cindy, come on. We got to get you on the microphone. We're going to get you on the microphone, Cindy.
Yeah.
Because my co-host is, upset about a couple of things.
Yeah. We'll make this simple for you, Cindy.
It'll be nice and easy, Cindy.
Mr. Draper is upset because...
Hold up. Let me set it up, big fella, because you got to say it the right way. You can't just put it out there in the ether, Whitey. You got to actually build it up. Cindy, first of all, thanks for coming on the Drive Guys here. You can hear me okay?
Yes, I can.
All right. Jay, can you help her out with the mic, big fella? Come on, man. Is this on? 1, 2, 3. All right, Cindy.
How long have you worked here, Cindy? 25 years.
So you know the ins and outs. You know how things work around here.
Yeah.
Here's the deal, Cindy.
Yeah.
Me and my
You'll be able to
co-host
hear yourself,
and Jay.
He's got to turn your mic on there.
Yeah, and the mic's on. We work hard here every day. We work hard. We put in our shift. We hear. We deliver the great product that we do. Great organization we work for. But sometimes we get hungry throughout the day. And so usually,
she does too.
And so usually around 4:15 to 4:45, I go downstairs to get a snack out the vending machine. Yeah. Last week, the snack of choice was pretzels. Now, I'm a big pretzels fan. Love pretzels, Cindy. I love pretzels. And so it was the first time pretzels were in there. And I was like, wow, this is amazing. So I went through the pretzels. Okay. I ate all the pretzels. So I go down there today, Cindy, and I'm like, oh, it's Thursday. It's probably restocked. They didn't restock it with pretzels. It was something else. Oh. Who do I need to talk to get the pretzels back in the vending machine?
Before you answer, Jay and I have been we've told him 15 times who he needs to call. But he says, no, I got to talk to Cindy.
Yeah, okay.
So what's the protocol here? What's the process?
There is a number on the vending machine. You can call that and say, hey, what you would like in there. And then he would probably put whatever you would like in there.
Really?
Yes.
How do they?
Not whatever.
No.
Whatever.
How do they choose what goes in? Is it totally up to them, or do we put in any kind of?
We had before, we wanted beef jerky, so we had requested beef jerky.
Okay.
But, they just kind of put whatever they want in there right now,
okay,
unless someone suggests something.
There you go.
And then
right,
like Tom had suggested Cheez-Its. So
they got tons of Cheez-Its in there.
And
2 rows of Cheez-Its in there.
Now Tom's not here to eat them all. So, so now we just have to have them replace them with pretzels. So
okay.
We're all good to go.
All right. Now, and what day do they restock? Do we know?
Honestly, I don't know.
Okay.
I think they can tell when we get low on certain things. Like he wouldn't come out if one row was out.
Right.
Because I think the money, it's electronic.
Oh, so they could tell. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I just wanted to go to the source, Whitey, and get the correct answer.
Yeah.
So you say, call the number and say, we need pretzels.
But now I just want to go to Costco and get you a box.
As long as it's not the Kirkland brand, I'm okay.
Miss Cindy, you see who we're working with? This is the same snob who won't drink out of a can.
It can have several different, like it can have bags.
Well, here's the problem.
That's where they're probably getting them.
Like I thought, I'm like, man, all right, pretzels aren't there. Maybe it's still empty. But they put something entirely brand new in there. And I'm like, who's eating that? Like, why would they think we would want that?
Just to sample different things
Okay.
and see how it leaves the machine.
Now, would you also agree that it's probably good business if something is constantly being empty? It might be a popular product, so I should probably keep refilling it.
One would think.
Most likely. One would think. All right.
But if he doesn't have it on his, in his
truck or whatever,
when he's doing it, it's like
depends where we are in this route. Maybe other places are clearing him out of his pretzels.
Yeah.
By the time he gets here, it's like, I got no more pretzels.
Yeah, and I don't think we're like his main source of income.
That's the problem.
That's it.
It's his side job.
Well,
we're not getting his best effort.
I think it's more or less that we're not a big vending.
Sure.
We're not a big vending.
So I'm probably the only one, maybe me and Tom's not. I'll tell you, I will say this. This is how much weight Tom carries.
Yeah.
There's 2 rows of Cheez-Its.
Yeah.
Tom wants something that's 2 rows. I want something that's
well, they don't know you want something yet. They don't know.
I told him.
Okay.
He made his formal request.
I am going to call. I miss the pretzels.
Yes.
I settled for Cheez-Its today, and it was okay. It was
I
mid.
got some rice bowls in the freezer if you.
Dude, I saw that, but I got to Venmo you, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Be careful, Miss Cindy. Be careful.
I know.
He's a shaker and a mover. Yeah, he's a barterer.
Yeah.
Do I get a discount?
Actually, that is like
that is the discount.
That's whatever it was.
Whatever. I think it was like $2.75 or something.
I'm not making any money on it. It's
all
not like my. It's not like
you should hike up the price.
No, I just want people to have a healthy choice if they are stuck here working.
Right,
late.
we work exactly.
Like instead of chips.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I'm with you on that.
I'm all about that. So
I'm with you.
I'm here to share.
Thank you. I appreciate you coming up. I appreciate you.
Jay, how many times did we tell
to the bottom
exactly what Cindy told him?
About 17 times.
But I don't trust you guys. I don't trust you. So you can call in and request things.
Yeah. I mean, I've never actually called him because he actually bought it from someone else. So it's kind of just been.
Okay.
I haven't needed
I'm gonna give him Is it a cell phone number or is it?
I would imagine.
Okay. Yeah. All right.
You want us to go down and get that for you too, or can you do that?
Thank you, Cindy.
No, I'm good. Thank you.
Yeah.
Appreciate you coming. Cindy working hard down there. You guys bothering her.
Yeah, she's always here late. Now she's got to stay later.
Stay later. Thank you.
Yeah.
All right. Now I know the protocol. I appreciate that. Okay.
Yeah.
Right. No Kirk.
Right.
If you were like my husband.
Yeah. Cindy's husband is addicted to the chips pretzels. Oh yeah, those are.
They got those?
Yeah, they're good.
I do it the old-fashioned way. I eat the pretzels and the chips together, but they got chip pretzels.
I think Sheena got some of those.
Oh, okay.
Pretzel chips.
Oh, the little pretzel, the thin ones.
Yeah, those are good. Yeah, but she can't help you with your whole phobia over aluminum cans. That you're gonna have to deal with on your own.
That's ridiculous. People who, my boy Vaughn, our boy Vaughn, just sent me a video of. I'm not going to repeat it, but he sent a video on YouTube of the reason why you shouldn't drink straight from the can. And I will forward it to you and Jay so you can.
From the 916 Drapes is pouring his canned soda in a cup with his pinky out, Your Highness. There you go. When in doubt, pinky out.
I work hard to get to this level, big fella. I'm deserve it. I didn't graduate. You gotta understand. I grew up playing in the fire hydrant water, drinking from the hose. Excuse me if I want a bottle and a straw nowadays. Come on, man.
All right. Whitey's Wayback Machine quiz.
Gosh, see what we deal with?
Yeah. It's coming up, and I believe Jay is your current champion.
Yeah, you don't have to believe it.
No,
you know
it.
You know it.
And I believe Kyle Draper is not in tomorrow, so I think this is
this is
he's running.
And next week I'm not in, so unless you guys drum one up, this will be the last one for a while.
No, I may have to. I'll come up with something. Maybe I'll,
Okay.
Or you could just send one in, just email it to me, and I'll.
You ain't doing nothing. You ain't doing nothing.
You ain't got nothing going on.
Not likely. Yeah.
Oh,
so
man.
Whitey's Wayback Machine quiz is coming up next on Sacktown Sports.
Whitey here for Napoleon Grills, reminding you that when buying a new grill, every detail matters. While supplies last, you'll receive a $149 gift with purchase on every new Napoleon Prestige stainless steel grill. The kit even includes a pizza lover starter kit and much more. And now up to $79 off Napoleon Rogue models. Napoleon grills are built different, built better, built to last, with a lifetime warranty and premium steel that boasts amazing quality. Visit Green Acres Nursery today for your best selection of Napoleon grills and accessories.
With 25 award-winning years in Northern California, Ashton & Price is your local injury law firm. Pro attorney tip: if a firm presents as local but they're in LA, red flag. If your first consultation is not with a lawyer, big red flag. At Ashton & Price, your first consult is with a local attorney, and if serious injury prevents travel, a lawyer will come to you. Still not enough? George Washington's my uncle. At Ashton & Price, no red flags, just red, white, and blue.
Remember, for the best advice, don't think twice. Call Ashton and Price.
Capital Casino, conveniently located on 411th North 16th Street in downtown Sacramento.
Hey, it's Carmichael Dave. You know summer is pretty much here, and Father's Day is right around the corner. One way to get dad fired up for Father's Day, trust me, I know, stop into Amy's Outdoor Living and see their ultimate lineup of barbecue grills. We're talking Weber gas grills, starting at just $3.99. Traeger Woodridge pellet grills starting at $7.99. That's a great price. Rectech begins at just $5.99. Plus, think about this. Amy's has free setup and delivery. The Gosney pizza ovens, I got one of those, starts at $3.99. Nothing like being out back with your family, making a homemade pizza. Find great gifts for dad like Yeti coolers and comfy hammocks. Amy will pay the sales tax on all in-stock furniture. Family owned and operated. Amy's Outdoor Living on El Camino near Watt, where I used to go as a kid with my dad, and also brand new in the El Dorado Hills Town Center. Tell me your good buddy Carmichael Dave sent you.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-6814. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-6814. 800-575-6814. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Patrick was way behind on his IRS taxes.
I was in way over my head. The total amount ended up being somewhere just over $30,000. $30,000.
Then the IRS came to collect.
Started getting letter after letter. A lien had been filed against me. They were going to basically hang me completely out to dry.
He had to do something.
That's when I reached out to Optima Tax Relief.
Patrick's life quickly got a lot easier.
It was very easy, pretty much hands off. They picked up the ball and ran with it.
And how'd it go?
I couldn't believe it. I had to ask 2 or 3 times. I saved an incredible amount of money.
How does Patrick feel about Optima?
Couldn't be happier. They definitely helped me. Optima Tax Relief, the best place to call. They're the best in the business.
Do what Patrick did and call Optima Tax Relief for a free consultation. Call 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460. Optima Tax Relief.
Testimonial from an actual client. Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
The Drive Guys powering your afternoons Monday through Friday on Sacktown Sports.
If you listen to the show, you hear us talk quite a bit about Tom Morton, and you probably already know Tom Morton.
Yes.
He's on commercials. He's played on tour. He's one of the teaching pros out at Hagen Oaks with the Morton family, Morton Family Golf. The dynastic family of Sacramento golf.
Yes.
But he's actually. We also talked about the young man Zach Polo. From Rockland, playing in the U.S. Open as an amateur. And Tom Morton's caddying for him. We didn't know that.
I had no idea, and Zach finished tied for 62nd here through the first round, a +4, very respectable. And Tom texted me and said, yeah, I'm on the bag. I'm caddying for him. And he said Zach played absolutely terrific, had a couple of bad breaks, a couple of 3 putts, but did a hell of a job out there today. So shout out to Tom Moore. And that's pretty cool, man.
It is.
Able to caddy in the U.S. Open. Yeah, that is cool. I had no idea.
Yeah. You got Father's Day. You watch golf? I know you got family stuff going on.
Yeah. This is it's kind of tough being out here on the West Coast because the golf action is in smack middle of the day.
Right.
Back east, final rounds go until 7, 8 o'clock. You can wrap up and then finish. Yeah, and then finish the last 6, 7 holes. So me and the kids going to Tahoe this weekend.
Right.
We'll be driving back, and so I'll probably get home early enough to finish watching the golf tournament. Yes.
We got some family coming over, but I don't know that it's going to be, people come from the Bay Area. Sacramento, we'll go swimming. It's going to be nice, but I don't think it's going to be hot. It might not be hot.
Is it not going to be hot? Where? At your place?
Yeah.
Dude, you got a heated pool. What are you talking about, bro?
It's not currently heated.
Oh, it's not?
It doesn't usually have to be. But, normally by now we've got some hot weather. Like you said last night, you said,
it was
so
cold. Dude, I got 88 on Sunday.
See, that's cool. You got to at least be in the,
Yeah, come on, man.
Cool fun.
Why come on,
man? At least be into the 90s.
88? Dude, that's pretty sweet.
Yeah, it's nice. But swimming weather, you want it
to be 90, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be partly cloudy, too.
Partly cloudy at 88? It's time now for Whitey's Wayback Machine Quiz for June 12th. Brought to you by Lee's Air Plumbing and Heating. Make sure you're ready for summer. Lee'sAir.com. They'll get you all set if you need any help there. Jay is our reigning champion. What a match yesterday.
That was a great match.
It was. Everybody played extremely well. So, Jay, you're up first today. Here's what we have for you. We have this date, what year in boxing? 1950. 1970. We have 1997, 2002, and 2017. Everything in the quiz happened on this date or is related to things that happened on this date. Jay, you're up. Where would you like to begin?
Scared man don't win. Give me 1950.
Okay. 1950.
The big 5-0.
It is a closest to.
Mickey Mantle's home run ball. 600 and
Would you like Mr. Draper to go first?
Sure, let's do it.
Yes. 1950, Drapes. Major League Baseball announces that the A's Connie Mack will serve as an honorary manager at the All-Star Game. Mack had just announced he would retire at the end of that year. How many seasons, including that year, did Connie Mack manage the A's?
Oh.
Cornelius McGillicuddy.
How many seasons did Connie Mack? This is a trick question.
A few years ago, the A's had a throwback day, and I think Art Howe managed the game dressed as Connie Mack.
Can you read it one more time?
I have to get Art Howe on the show.
Yeah, there's no trick in here, Drapes. So don't worry about that. But this date, 1950, baseball announced Connie Mack's going to serve as an honorary manager at the All-Star Game because he had just announced he would retire at the end of that year. So after that year was done, how many seasons did Connie Mack manage the A's?
19.
19? Jay?
It was more than that, 20.
It was
like 28, 29.
He started in 1901.
Get the hell out of here.
And he managed all the way through to
Are you
year.
serious?
50.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
I thought it was like 30.
Yeah.
50 years as the A's manager.
I was like, no way.
I think he retired. He was 87.
Yeah, he was OG.
50 years?
Yes. Point goes to Jay.
Nice
Kyle
one, Jay.
Draper.
I'd have guessed 30, 35.
He began when they were in Philadelphia.
Philly.
Philadelphia. Go ahead.
This day, what year in boxing?
Jay know not to touch that one. He know not to touch that one.
1970, 1997, 2002, and 2017.
2002.
2002. It's multiple choice.
Perfect.
Drapes, Lakers on this date, 0-2 win their third straight title.
Kobe Bryant.
Complete a sweep of the Nets behind 34 from Shaq, 113 to 107. Shaq's 145 points are the most ever in a finals sweep, breaking the old record that was held by whom? You got that? 2002 Lakers sweep Shaq with 145 points, most ever in a finals sweep.
Okay.
Breaking the old record that was held by whom?
Okay.
Hakeem Olajuwon, Rick Barry, Moses Malone. 113, 107. Kings fans know that should have been the Kings in that finals, but oh well, that's the way it goes. That's the way it
Who were
goes.
the first? Was Olajuwon first?
Hakeem Olajuwon, Rick Barry, Moses Malone. Most points in finals. So weep. Shaq 145.
This is a
breaking the
great
record held by
question.
who?
This is a great question. Don't psych yourself out, Drapes. It's Olajuwon, Rick Barry, and Moses, right?
Malone.
Oh, Moses.
Multiple choice. Yeah. Drapes trailing 1-0.
Moses.
Just a second question of the way back quiz.
Rick
Pull up a
Barry.
chair. Rick Barry is not correct.
Notice.
Jay with a chance to steal. This date 0-2. Shaq leading Lakers over the Nets. He scored 145 points, most ever in a final sweep. That's in the whole series. Breaking the old record that was held by whom? Hakeem Olajuwon or Moses Malone?
The Dream.
He got it right. Damn it.
That is correct.
Yeah.
Hakeem Olajuwon. It had just happened a few years earlier against Shaq.
Shaq.
Yeah,
right?
Shaq. Yeah, I knew that one. Good job, Jay.
Jay has a 2-0 lead, and Jay, you're up. This day, what year in boxing? And Drapes has warned you away from that.
Yeah, he ain't doing that.
Scared
He ain't
Drapes.
doing that.
1970, 1997, 2017.
Let's go with, what was the last one?
2017.
And what was the one before that?
1997.
Let's go 97.
1997.
Rafael Palmeiro.
Multiple choice.
Yeah, let's go.
This date, 1997, baseball's first ever regular season interleague game. The Giants defeat what team? 4-3. The A's, the Angels, the Rangers. This date, 97.
Oh.
Baseball finally started playing interleague play. Regular season, first interleague game. Giants defeat what team? 4-3. A's, Angels, Rangers.
The Angels.
Angels is not
Oh,
correct.
I thought I
With
had
the
it.
chance to steal. He needs this
Rangers.
one. Rangers is
Correct.
correct.
Yeah, it's the Rangers.
2-1. I get it.
I thought it was the Rangers, but I was like,
I needed that. I needed that. Your boy needed that.
I tricked myself out on that.
Yeah.
Yep.
So you're up again, Drapes.
What we got?
This day, what year in boxing? 1970, 2017. 2-1 ball game.
2017.
2017 is multiple choice.
I'm ready for it.
Excuse me. It is not multiple choice. It is closest to.
Closest to?
I
Okay.
misspoke.
Yeah, Jay will go first.
Jay. This day, 2017, Warriors finish off the Cavs for the title in 5 games. Series MVP Kevin Durant averages how many points per game in the series?
Yeah.
2017.
31.
31. Over to Kyle Draper.
Do I got to put the 0.7 and all that on there?
You could just say
Okay.
whatever number
no,
you
but
want.
31.4.
31.4.
31.5.
35.2.
Yes.
35.2.
32. Yeah.
Yeah.
Man.
Oh, even.
Let's go.
He was balling.
Yeah,
Yes,
he was hooping out there.
2-2 ball game. Back to you, Jay. This day, what year in boxing? And 1970.
Let's go 1970. Drace wasn't alive yet.
I told you, you scared of that boxing.
My favorite question because of what it has, what it relates to. This date, 1970. It's the closest to.
Let Drapes go.
I go first.
Drapes, this date, 1970. Doc Ellis
Ooh.
throws
great
his
Doc Ellis.
legendary no-hitter
He was on that something.
on LSD
Allegedly.
in San Diego. One of his teammates told me once he was on something, but he wasn't on LSD. Doc Ellis said, I was on LSD.
He was on LSD.
Years later, he said, sometimes I saw the catcher, sometimes I didn't.
Damn.
How many hitters did he walk? Doc Ellis, in his legendary no-hitter on LSD, this date, 1970. He walked how many hitters?
1.
1. Jay?
It was way more. He walked like 6, 7, 8, something around there. So I'm going 2.
He walked 8.
Yeah.
Eight.
Damn, he
Base
walked
on
8?
ball.
Yeah. I was going to say 9. I'd have
I
guessed
thought
9.
it was the other
yeah.
way. Like I was thinking, he didn't do any. He was so amazing then. All right. Nice one, Jay.
Yeah.
Now let me put him away with the
Boxing,
boxing.
baby.
Here we go.
go.
I saved it on purpose.
Hope you got a
'Cause it's
tiebreaker question.
It's his turn, correct?
Yep.
Yep. All right.
So I get to hear it and then decide.
This date, what year in boxing? Jay leading 3-2. Drapes trying to force the overtime. This day, what year in boxing? Larry Holmes. TKO's Leon Spinks in the 3rd round
Let's go.
for the WBC heavyweight
Man,
crown.
that's an easy one.
This day, what year?
He ain't got it.
No, I do think I'm going to give it to you first, though.
Oh,
19. 19. 19. 19. 19. 19. 19. 19. 19. 19. 19. 19. 19. 19. 19. 19. 19. 19. 19. 19. 19. 19. 19. 19. 19. 19. 19. 19. 19. 19. 19. 19. 19. 19. 19. 19. 19. 19. 19. 19. 19. 19. 19. 19. 19. 19. 19. 19. 19. 19. 19. 19. 19. 19. 19. 19. 19. 19. 19. 19. 19. 19. 19. 19. 19. 19. 19. 19. 19. 19. 19. 19. 19. 19. 19. 19. 19. 19. 19. 19. 19. 19. 19. 19. 19. 19. 19. 19. 19. 19. 19. 19. 19. 19. 19. 19. 19. 19. 19. 19. 19. 19. 19. 19. 19. 19. 19. 19. 19. 19. 19. 19. 19. 19. 19. 19. 19. 19. 19. 19. 19. 19. 19. 19. 19. 19. 19 Let me count back. Let me count back. Let me count back.
Larry Holmes TKOs Leon Spinks in the third round for the WBC heavyweight.
He got it. He's nervous.
Jay leading 3-2, trying to win it right here. Drapes trying to force overtime.
Read the question one more time. Read, because I think I know what I need to
Larry
know.
Holmes TKOs Leon Spinks in the third round for the WBC heavyweight crown. This date, what year?
1985.
1985. Drapes?
84.
It was 1982.
I thought it was 82.
This dude is sweet science.
I tried to play it a little up. I thought it was 82.
So we're tied. Overtime, Jay. We just got a few seconds left. Can we go to overtime?
Yeah. You got a little.
So you're up, Jay. It's a closest two.
Jay got it. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Closest two.
It's a closest two. You want Drapes to go first?
Of
You want to
course.
go first?
Yeah, I go
Drapes,
first.
this date, 1981. Pardon me. Baseball players go out on strike.
Yes.
Beginning a work stoppage that would last how many days?
That was a long one.
1981. Players walk out.
That was a long
Beginning a strike that would last how many days?
That was long.
For the win.
That was a long strike.
It's on this date. Got a 3-3
It's like
game.
I believe they lost that season, if I'm correct. I'm going to do 100. No, I'm going to do 200.
200.
That's a great guess.
What do you think, Jay?
It was longer than that. 201.
It was a strike that lasted 50 days. Resumed the season in August. And Kyle Draper's come back for the win.
Booyah!
I should have said 1982. That was my gut with Larry Holmes. I tried to play him a little.
champ.
Take tomorrow off,
Yes. Dang.
Jay and I back
He gets to go on a champ for like a week and a half. Oh.
Stick around. Golf to go is next. Talk about the game of golf next on Sacktown Sports.
This is the story of the one. As a safety manager at a manufacturer.